शिरोदिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते भगवति हेशिति कण्ठकुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरवरवर्षिणि दुर्धरदर्शिनि दुर्मुखमर्षिनि हर्षरते त्रिभुवनपोषिणि शङ्करतोषिणि किल्बिषमोषिनि घोषरते धनुजनिरोषिनि दितिश्रुतरोषिनि दुर्मथतोषिनि सिन्धुसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते
Hi guys, thank you for joining the live stream. I don't have no idea again how the volume is because StreamyHard has a weird setting that you can't monitor the audio, or maybe I haven't found it yet. I have tried to find out, but you can't hear yourself in the headphones, which is called a monitor. So I can't monitor what's going on. I don't know if it's too loud or too low. And I heard my live stream last day later on, and it had pretty horrible audio. I hope it's fixed today. So anyway, today we are going to do audience interactions again. I will send the invite link for when someone wants it. Aaj audience session. Yes, audience session. But before that, we are going to start with a bit of Rajesh Nandi. It's Rajesh Nandi's birthday, by the way. Whenever you can find him, wherever, Twitter or Facebook, wish him a happy birthday. Before that, we are going to start with just 2 or 3 sections from a recent Rajesh Nandi appearance on a YouTube channel called Level Supermind. Okay. Now, for those of you who did not know absolutely anything about Tantra, etc., before Rajesh Nandi started becoming a hit on Beer Biceps, but who have since then started taking an interest or have binge watched everything of Rajesh Nandi, I guess we can't be called absolute beginners anymore. It sounds hilarious that we have found so much stuff only from podcasts, but let's say we know some things. Bare minimum basics we do know these days, right? But I would say, based on the progression of the kinds of podcasts that Rajesh Nandi is going on, and let's say the types of questions he's getting, I think we are seeing a pretty nice gradual advancement in the levels of the entire material or the things coming out of his mouth as well. Okay. So Beer Biceps first episodes were just bare basics, bare bones, beginner stuff. Then it got a little more advanced in the recent podcasts. Then his podcast with Ashish Dhar and let's say, who's that Haryanvi guy? Vad. Yeah, Vad podcast. Those two were very good. Now he has gone on this podcast. It's called Level Supermind. It's a pretty new channel. It had some 66,000 subscribers, and up until a few days, I'm really it's not a paid promotion. Okay, I'm really trying to get you all to subscribe to this channel, because it had just 66,000 subscribers up until 2 days back, and now I'm seeing it has 67.5 thousand subscribers. And most of its content has only like 500, 600 views. Some big guests have 20,000, 30,000 views. Only Rajesh Nandi's podcast on this channel has 98,000 views. And I get why most people would not have seen this podcast. It's probably because it's not that big of a channel. Most of you all don't even know Rajesh Nandi appeared on this. But also, a lot of you probably think that you all have already watched a lot of Rajesh Nandi already. So you know kind of the basics, what new thing is going to be asked. So it's not just Asli Tantra Samjho and what is Tantra, who is Bhairava. It is a little better than that. But 2-3 things got discussed in this podcast, especially in the second half, near the fag end of the podcast, which have not been clarified or by Rajesh Nandi, and basically which Rajesh Nandi did not have a chance to clarify. Some very important questions. For that reasons, for me at least, this podcast of Rajesh Nandi is the best one so far on the internet. Okay, it's by a guy called it's by a channel called Level Supermind. Some guys interviewing him. I don't know what is his bio and stuff. Why don't you make some short videos? Because I am not a full-time YouTuber, I don't have the time to make I don't have the time to edit stuff. Whenever I do have the time, I cut out stuff from my live stream. And I'm a firm believer in not giving out just cool fun things on 5-10 minutes, because the state of our discourse through mainstream news media, the absolute joke that has been made out of our discourse is because of short videos that you find on Times Now and ABP Anando and all mainstream news channels. Okay, real in-depth knowledge and in-depth conversations happen only in 2-3 hour podcasts or 2-3 hour discussions, because unless you are an absolute genius like Dr. Shomode and stuff, or Srijit Dotto. I'm not a. I can't retain so much knowledge and keep on blabbering out thing after thing after like for 1 hour straight. I have to go around talking about it, churn things in my mind, and then come up with better arguments. So short videos मुझसे नहीं होगा. Okay, let me show you some nice stuff from this interview of Rajesh Nandi. Okay, shared screen. This is the first time I'm sharing stuff on StreamYard. Let's see how to do it. Yeah, this seems to be it. Window. Yeah, not window. I should share the tab, right? Yeah, this seems to be it. So, first is this eternal question. Can you briefly illustrate your journey to becoming a musician? Yeah, we will get into those stuff. We'll interact a little. I'll interact with the comment section a little more. When your next podcast will come? When are you going to bring Kushal on your channel? I'll invite Kushal Mehra after I'm done reading his book. Okay, Rohan. My next podcast is nothing so far on this week. In this week, I'm in the middle of some mails and conversations with some people. Let's see when they find the time to finalize a date. i'm uh, I'm currently discussing a date with Swapan Dasgupta's personal secretary, and I'm in the middle of another discussion with who I forgot. I can't remember. I'll tell you those things next Thursday, I think. Not this Thursday. Next Thursday, we are probably going to discuss Chandranath Boshu with Srijit Datto. Okay. Will you be bringing Vivek Debroy? Yeah, of course. Someday. I have not started the discussion yet. Finding out mail IDs with Vivek Debroy's mail ID, so it's simple. I'll just have to mail in the EACPM website only. But so many people's mail IDs are only not visible anywhere. Okay, not on Twitter. Twitter में तो message करना भी block किया हुआ है. Unless they follow me back, I can't ping them even. What a weird hard task. You should see Arvind Nilakandam. Yes, great scholar. Of course. I intend to bring these people. Who is Apostate Prophet? I've heard of him a lot. You can check political leanings of a media house by checking its owner and editor. Yes. So I remember I learned three important things. Okay, the two of those three things are somewhere around this timestamp and around 53-55 mark. Okay, this portion will cover a large amounts of misconceptions that people have about Hinduism and theism in general. After that, there is something important that he said here, which I can't remember what he exactly said, but I'll fast forward a bit maybe. Okay, so here the question is the eternal question that Bengalis, especially atheist Bengalis, always say, that we are somehow better than the rest of the country because we respect our women extra. And why we respect our women extra, according to atheist Bengalis, is that, or commie Bengalis, is that since we worship women apparently, okay, Ma Durga, Ma Kali are women, okay, they are not Shakti, they are women, they are divine women. So therefore, do we Bengalis see women or see divinity in every woman, or should we? Anyone who is a Shakti worshipper, therefore, does it mean that they must see all women in divine light? Rajesh Nandi clarifies that finally. There are huge misconceptions with these things. And the interviewer actually started with that very premise, basically, that since if we worship Shakti, we worship women in some form, why have we been historically so evil towards women?
Passed through over many years has been quite, I would say, morally degraded to some extent. Why did that happen, and how do we get out of that? Because on one hand, we are talking about it at such a divinized level. We are talking about really submitting and seeing the Shakti is an active form, and at other forms, we are seeing this happening, this moral degradation.
So this question, so this question has in my opinion, it has a wrong assumption inside it. Wrong assumption is that because we worship the Divine Mother, therefore every woman automatically is divine. No. Neither every man is divine, not every woman is divine. You treat men and women the way you treat any human being, by the set laws of normal ethics, logic, morality, etc. Within the scope of that, whatever wrongs have been happened to, whether not just women, whether it's men, women, or a particular race, or this and that, we judge it according to the natural laws of culture and civilization. So this misconception should not be there, and it is very prevalent in a lot of parts of India. Because I worship the divine mother, automatically every woman becomes divine. No, every woman, there are parts of the tantra that say all women are divine, but that is, again, remember, the tantras are not talking to the pashu, it is talking to the vira, somebody who has reached a certain stage in sadhana. For that,
This idea of pashu and vira is very, very important. Divya bhava, pashu bhava, vira bhava. Most of us are pashus, okay? And pashu means animals, of course, but animals are forever pashus. They don't have the means to become anything other than a pashu. But pashu does not mean just the physical object called animal. Pashu is a bhava, and we are all pashus because pasha means basically shrinkhal, shackles. Yeah, shackles of attachment, maya, moh, etc. Okay, so if you haven't won over those shackles, then you are a pashu. So anyone who is shackled with pasha is a pashu, and therefore Lord Shiva is called pasha vimochak. So anyway, unless you have moved on from those pashas, you are a pashu, and most of us are that.
individual, during the course of certain sadhanas, all women are divine. He or she, and it could be a woman also, by the way. A woman who is doing a sadhana, during that particular stage of growth of the mantra activation, he or she has to look at all women as divine. It is not a prescription for the whole world. That tomorrow, whenever you see a woman, you life fall flat and say you are goddess. Ye sab nahi idea. These are a misunderstanding of the process. So there are examples when great masters, Ramakrishna, Vamakapa, and all that, some women or the other came with some other intention and they got angry also. These are all recorded. In fact, there is a very famous incident of Sri Ramakrishna when he was sitting in the Kali temple, and the owner of the Kali temple, Rani Rashmani, she was in the same room, and Ramakrishna had the ability to read everybody's thoughts, what was going on. So she was thinking of some monetary matter or something. Ramakrishna turns around and gives her one slap, and she's like the owner of the place, and he's just a, and that's like shocking to everybody. But she doesn't. She tells he don't do anything to him or something like that. And then Ramakrishna kind of tells him that even in front of the deity, you are still thinking of money or something similarly. So if we are to apply that blindly, that prescription that all women by default are divine, then how can Ramakrishna slap a woman? It is not meant to be used that way. It is meant to be used, but yes, it is not untrue also. There are certain sadhana, certain states of sadhana, certain kinds of mantra sadhana, which if you are doing, and you means it could be you, it could be a woman also is doing it, a sadhika also is doing it. In that state, how women behave with you, and there are a lot of secrets and nuances, will tell you how the mantra is working. There, the women become an embodiment of Shakti, even though the woman herself may not be aware of it. She could be just as an ordinary person going on the road or something like that. But even the slightest behavior is a nimitta for you. But that is only for the upasaka, because the texts are only for the viras. It is not for the pashu.
I think more and more what I'm getting is that it's really about taking yourself to a higher state of being and thinking.
Yes.
And to some extent, I appreciate what you said about the misconception of the question. And probably the answer that I'm also receiving is that, and you said it at the start of the conversation. So you said man, woman, everybody's a pashu.
Yes.
So you view everybody as pashu, but you go into the state of vira. So the idea is everybody lift themselves to a state of vira. If everybody can lift themselves to a state of vira, then these violent conflicts in society themselves will reduce to exist.
So even that also I will not say. So my point is, I don't want to claim.
Again, a very, very important point has been clarified by Rajesh Nandi. It will be clarified now, okay? Basically, the guy who asked a question on the comment section of this video, I took a screenshot of that and posted and sort of wrote a counter. No, that so which is always asked by many Hindutvadi people, many commies, mostly by commies and atheists, that if Hindus were such great devout people, if Hindu gods are so important, why did Hindus face invasions, etc.? Like if Bengal has been the home of such great Shakti Upasana, then why so much invasions here? Why the bad things that happened to Bengalis historically? If Kashmir Shaivism is such an important thing, if Tantra had such an important place in Kashmir, why did they face invasions, and even up until this day, why do those Kashmiri Pandits face such harsh times? So I said that because no solution is the only solution, and no problem is the only problem. Like we tend to say as a sort of a device for conversations, that the only problem is XYZ, or the only solution is XYZ. There is no such thing. Nothing. Economy, pattharbaz, no problem is the only solution. No problem is the only problem. Okay. So Rajesh Nandi goes a step further and gives and points out an even better answer for this question, that Tantra is not supposed to solve all of society's Problems. First of all, it's sort of your individual path to embody the values of the deity. So individualism is at the forefront in this case. Hence the idea of Ishta Devata here. But therefore, it does not mean you get rid of all laws, armies, everything just because the city is full of Tantra Upasakas. That's not how it's going to happen. Chanakya himself believed in Tantra. He had, as far as I remember, he had tantrics, and which are in fact eliminated in the Penguin translation of Arthashastra. Okay, because the translator himself decided, Ellen Rangarajan, I think, said that these are irrelevant black magic things. Let's not involve them in this text that I'm translating, even though they are also written by Chanakya himself. Hilarious. So, why then does Chanakya write an entire treatise on economics and law and order? He should have written a book on Tantra only. We are all believers of Shakti, so chalo ho gaya. No problem. Now laws and stuff, nothing else is required. No defense is required because I worship Ma Kali. That sort of stupidity has never been promoted by any Upasaka, least of all by Rajesh Nandi, and he clarifies that here.
That Tantra is some kind of a method to transform or fix all kinds of problems in society. Neither Tantra nor yoga nor no spiritual practice by itself can fix society completely. Society has, that's why we have laws, that's why we have the penal code, judges, this, that, court, and etc. So we fix these according to the standard laws and the ways we deal with them. So if there is some kind of mistreatment that has happened to a woman, we file a case, we go ahead and do whatever needs to be done with that. So Tantra is by default not going to change the way society is going to work. Neither is going to yoga do that, nor bhakti, nor great gurus have come, great avatars have come, still there is crime happening. Okay, so if they could not change it, there's nobody else who can change it. So, but look at it as a spiritual path. There is a section of people who will be interested in spirituality. Of them, those who gel with this path, they can use this path to transcend and go higher. So this linking of societal problems with the spiritual path, in my opinion, is not the correct solution. It will not ever bring a solution. I mean, leave Tantra aside. We have had avatars, Lord Rama, Lord Krishna.
Yeah.
Has crime vanished in India? No. They could not change everything. So how will anything else change it? So we deal with these matters of crime or whatever problem in society. For that, we have evolved a system. There's a judicial system, ho ya jo bhi ho, whatever else. So like that. And understand one thing, even with the best of laws also, there's never going to be a perfect society. Whether it's today, whether it's thousands of years earlier or something like that, the laws are idealized conditions. People have their karmas, and there is going to be the way things are. So I don't have much.
No, I really appreciate your thoughts, because I think that there's this lovely sense of, this corridor of this is what it is, and you just walk down the corridor. So I'm just feeling.
Okay, since we have lots of comments already, I'll check some comments now and get back to this later. If there aren't enough comments, then we'll watch the rest of this podcast. As far as I remember, there was something fascinating near the end. I can't remember what. Okay, let me check the comments now. Eric Garcetti just did a backflip with UPI remark just after end of fourth phase. After making religious freedom reports at beginning of election, seems like BJP winning despite deep state's efforts. Good evening, Dada. When your next podcast? When you're Pushal? Why don't you make short videos? Is Tantra real? The spirits and all stuff. See, the answer to that is that people who practice those paths and rituals in the exact recommended way, with that exact same focus and discipline, they say it's real. Unless you try it, unless I try it, I'm in no position to say it. Because who am I going to trust? An atheist scholar who has not practiced those things, or the person who is doing those things and then saying that it's real? How do we reach a conclusion here? Can you briefly illustrate your journey to becoming a musician? Is anyone interested really? People might check out if I start describing that. No. If anyone's interested in knowing, someone confirm, then I'll get into it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Avinav is saying this clearly shows that these commies have never been to rural Bengal. They are so disconnected with the reality of rural Bengal. Even Guru Gobind was Shakta and Tantra practitioner, but no one knows. I see. Everyone should read Gramsci and his books. Yes. Europe ka future barbad hai. When no problem create a problem. spiritual life isn't completely devoid of material world. Your body is still a physical entity. You have to run the machine mechanically to get the things done, like protecting dharma. Yes. Dada, do you consider Henry Kissinger a passive war criminal? Yes. A passive war criminal might be a stretch in just one way, but in most senses he is a war criminal, unless he actively, let's say, sanctioned a particular war crime. Then of course I don't see in any way that he's not a war criminal. Yeah, he seems to be. First one that comes to my mind is, of course, Obama. Vashikaran is fake. Tantra is possible. Okay. I finished a book called The Blood Telegram. It's about the 1971 whole thing. I recommend everyone to read this book. What is your favorite mantra that you chant? ये हम नहीं बोलेंगे. Please tell. Okay. So Dada, I wrote on Buddhist God trampling Hindu God thread. Please share it in my. Oh, I see, I see. Okay, tag me in that post. Okay. So yeah, I became a musician. How? First of all, when I was young, my mom listens to only and only Rabindra Sangeet. Okay, that is music created by Rabindranath Thakur. Different vocalist. Her favorite is Shubinoy Rai, I think. So luckily, she gave me a nice privilege that her father didn't give her. Her father, meaning my grandfather, was of the opinion that anything other than Rabindra Sangeet is absolutely. Uh, I don't know if this word is there in in non-Bengali languages. Apasamskriti, since apabhramsha is a word in Sanskrit, so I think apasamskriti should also be a word that something that's bad. Of course, it's not a part of our culture. So anything other than Rabindra Sangeet was absolutely looked down upon by my grandfather. So yeah, so no Kishore Kumar stuff, no Bollywood music at all for my mother. She used to sneak out at friends' house to listen to such music. So, but she introduced me to a lot of stuff because she had friends from JU. So they used to listen to people like Nochiketa, Anjan Datto, and Kobi Shuman. So I did not like Kobi Shuman ever, but I was very, very, very hooked on to Nochiketa and Anjan Datto from my very childhood. Then when I went to study in Kalimpong, we bought a music system. With that music system, 3 cassettes and 3 music video VCDs were offered to us for free. And I bought the Godzilla soundtrack cassette. It did not have the background scores for the Godzilla movie. It had just the theme music and lots of kinds of songs that were used in the movie. Okay. I bought that album when I was in class 3. I bought that album just because I liked the movie Godzilla and I like the idea of Godzilla, dinosaurs, etc. And I bought the Lucky Ali Cipher album. Not bought, took. It was for free, and I don't remember what other thing we took. So anyway, my music listening was going great, but the Godzilla album was a very much a turning point again. Lucky Ali Cipher was, let's say, it was a better version of Anand Datto melody and arrangement wise. Anand Datto did even lower budget productions, but his lyrics were kind of cool and sassy. By the way, Anjan Datto's most famous song, Ranjana Ami Rajmona, incredibly has no one has, I think, uh, got into what the song is actually trying to say. The song is written from the perspective of a Muslim guy trying to date a Hindu girl, okay, and not being able to enter the neighborhood of that Hindu girl because he feels threatened by the Hindu neighbors of that Hindu girl, okay. The lyrics of the song goes পাড়ায় ঢুকলে ঠ্যাং খোড়া করে দেবো বলেছে পাড়ার দাদারা. So if I entered that neighborhood, the let's say the elder bros of that girl, or like the neighborhood bros of the girl, has said that if I entered that neighborhood they will break my legs. And then one paragraph he actually clarifies, ধর্ম আমার আমি নিজে নিজে বেছে নিইনি, পদবিতে পদবিতে আমার কোনো হাত নেই, এটসেট্রা। সো আই ডিড নট চুজ মাই রিলিজিয়ন। আই গো টু মসজিদ, আমি একবেলা কখনো কখনো যাই, বছরে 2-1 বার। আই গো টু দ্য মসজিদ only once or twice in the year. I'm just a Bengali honor student. I'm a very nervous, sweet guy. My spectacles fall off when I try to read, etc. I'm a very nice guy, etc. So this at least depicts that up until when Anjan Datto was writing this song, Bengali society was pretty conservative because it's Anjan Datto comes from a pretty rich elite family. He studied in St. Paul's, Darjeeling. It had insane salaries for boarding school students. I did not study in a boarding school. My mom used to teach there. So I did not have to spend insane amounts of money. Anu Datta's father did actually spend insane amounts of money, and his surname is Datta. So upper caste, upper middle class, elite Bengali family. Okay, even that guy is saying that a Muslim, writing from the perspective of a Muslim guy trying to date a Hindu girl, trying to do a love jihad, I guess, who was being prevented, who being physically threatened by other Hindu bros. That was a weird time in history. So then after Ranjan Datta, that Godzilla album is the first time I started listening to English music. It had beautiful songs by great rock bands and even some jazz rock bands. Then bands who became even more famous much after the Godzilla movie. Actually, it had songs from Foo Fighters, Green Day. Back then, no one used to listen to Green Day and Foo Fighters. They got much more popular after, way after Godzilla, all over the world actually. So I listened to those things, those bands when I was in class 3. Then that school had many Bangladeshi students. So like we discussed some weeks back, that Bangladesh started doing rock music way earlier than anyone in India, because I guess first is their indigenous cultures and traditions were basically decimated. They did not have enough funding to do those things, and there was a great smuggling business forever in Bangladesh, which is why they could listen to foreign albums, cassettes, CDs, etc. They could get their hands on those things. Then they could buy foreign guitars and synthesizer, drums, even. Like even when I got into playing the guitar, even almost up until that, just like a few years before I started playing the guitar, most professional guitarists in Kolkata, like even like Bollywood functions and stuff in the neighborhoods, almost all of them had really cheap bad guitars. Okay, uh, the Cactus band had a great guitar. Fossil's first album, okay, Rupam Islam's band Fossils, in the first album, at least during the recording of the first album, they still had octopad players. Their drummer Bubun, who later turned to drums, he used to play octopad, but someone else called Stephen played the drums. So anyway, good guitars were really hard to come by in Kolkata. Maybe lack of demand as well, but Bangladesh was really onto this rock music stuff way earlier. Like the band Miles, whose song Nisho Kore Shamaya was actually plagiarized by Anu Malik or Pritam, I don't remember who, and turned into the song called Aojana in the film Murder, for which I think they got their ass sued to the ground, which is why you won't find that song on YouTube legally from any channel anymore. So that was, I think, the only time Bollywood had to pay for their mistake or their crime. So that Aojana song was by a band called Miles. And guess when Miles started doing rock music? In 1984. Okay, 1984, Bangladesh, Bengali rock. Okay, so interestingly, this is an insane story. Listen to this. Miles band's core founding members were two brothers. Okay, Shafin Ahmed and Hamim Ahmed. One is a guitarist and vocalist, and one is a bassist and vocalist. Their mom is or was, I don't know if she's alive. She's a legendary Nozul Giti singer in Bangladesh, something Begum. So Nozul Giti means songs created by Kazi Nazrul Islam. Guess what the name of their father was? Kamal Dasgupta. Okay, so I think it must have been some kind of love jihad on Kamal Dasgupta. So Kamal Dasgupta becomes Kamaluddin Ahmed, maybe after or right before marriage. Then gives birth to two kids called Shamim Ahmed and Hamim Ahmed. Not Shamim Ahmed, Shafin Ahmed and Hamim Ahmed. and so here you see, in Bangladesh, is the Hindu guy converting to Islam. In India, it's Sanam Puri marrying a Christian girl and becoming Christian. It's A.R. Rahman's mom converting the entire family because their father died, and a Muslim Pir Baba helped them out, apparently. Weird stuff. So anyway, those Bangladeshi students of my mom's, they gift me a lot of Bangladeshi rock albums, and that's when I started listening to James as well. James Miles, I used to listen even before going to Kalimpong. I used to listen to Miles from class 1-2, because there used to be something like the NH7 Music Festival in Kolkata. Okay, there used to be something called Gan Mela. It's evident from the name what it was, but basically it was sort of a Bangladesh India music exchange sort of a concert. So in Gan Mela, you could buy all sorts of Bangladeshi albums, and my grandmother used to buy these albums just because she thought that, oh, these guys are wearing t-shirts and sunglasses, it must be something for the younger generation, so let's buy it. So I ended up listening to Miles like in 1995, 96, or even before that, how do you like James's music? I really like 2 or 3 songs, like the his song about his mother, his song about his father, his song about his teacher, those stuff. But আমি তারায় তারায় রটিয়ে দেবো, the version I like is the one on the that Winds of Change thing they did. I started listening to Miles when I was in class 7 or 8. Yeah, I started listening to it when I was in kindergarten. Pink Floyd attempted every variety of rock music and they had done well. Yes. Ghost Walking, I don't know Ghost Walk. Oh, Ghost Walking. Okay, anyway, I don't want to get into every comment. I will get into, but listen to this story further. So the Bangladeshi bands also broaden my music tastes a lot. And then before going to the hills, I was a very bookwormy kid. I was reading Feluda all day, Kakababu all day, anything I could get my hands on, any Bengali kids literature I could get my hands on. Leela Majumdar, I have read everything. So after going to Kalimpong, I see now there no one reads any books except the nerdy rankers in the class. Everyone is playing some sport or the other. Any sport you can think of is being played in my school, except boxing. Boxing stopped a few decades back because the fight continued. Some guy who lost brought more people and beat up the other side, etc. Those stuff happened. That's why my school stopped boxing. Everyone else was playing some other sport. So finally, I'll get into cricket. I before that I didn't even know what do you mean when someone shouts out. I don't know how many balls there were in an over, all those stuff. So I get into cricket. Then I'm balancing my cricket interests and storybook interests. So my academics is already gone out of the window, but the way of teaching is so nice and small classroom, so I was not doing that bad in academics. When I come to Kolkata, it's again books and cricket all day long, and I'm not even coping with my new school because up until now I was being bullied for having dark skin, for being Bengali, not being able to speak English. I coped with that. Those people became my best friends. Now I'm in Kolkata and none of the teachers can speak English. Even if they can speak English, they speak very bad English. It's pissing me off. All the kids are in my class have different tastes than me. No one's heard of Harry Potter. I'm already reading the second. I had finished all the first 3 books of Harry Potter by the time I came back to Kolkata. So again, it took some time to cope up. My only interest was again music because I was living at the house of one of my uncles who was not that older than me. He made me listen to Linkin Park and Fossils, and my mind got blown. So now it's listening to music and trying to make music with just sticks and pencil boxes and cricket. So I had asthma when I was a child, so it got mended with homeopathy. Then when I went to the hills to live, it got triggered again because when I was coming back from the hills in the holidays, my body could not handle so much pollution of Kolkata. So in one winter, I had to completely give up cricket, and that's when I stopped playing cricket completely. I got selected in the school team. I was not that good, but I really loved fast bowling. So every winter almost, I used to be bedridden because of asthma. So anyway, after cricket is done, I finally buy a guitar, acoustic guitar. My parents buy me an acoustic guitar in class 9, and that's when making music starts. Have you read Harry Potter and the Cursed Child? No, but my friend actually translated the Bengali version of it. He's my childhood friend. Can BJP create a counter narrative against the left Chhadobeshi Trinamooli propaganda? It can, of course. It will take efforts from people like us. They have not been able to as of yet. If the Penguin translation of the Arthashastra isn't accurate, which translation would you recommend? I would recommend the Penguin one only because the introduction is very good and the language is easiest of all the translations. But he has eliminated and he says it explicitly by himself only, that I have just eliminated the things I find black magic. So everything except black magic you will find in the Penguin version. Although Sanjeev Sanyal himself was saying that he did not read the Penguin one. They were talking about some other version. I have tagged you in Twitter with his video. RJ Shayon, yes. Me and Mysterious Sociologist are planning to discuss it one day. Warface or Blood, which band is more talented? Which Blood? Blood of Kolkata or Blood from Bangladesh? If you're talking about Blood of Bangladesh, I have not heard of that band. Warface I like pretty much. But you see, by the time Fossils and Cactus came onto the scene, Bangladeshi rock became very backdated. So I don't really like any Bangladeshi rock band anymore. I can imagine you bowling with long hairs. No, I was in class 8 when I quit cricket, so I had short hair. Yeah, in Cursed Child, they tried to elongate the story like elastic. Yes. Oh, Kolkata Blood. Yeah, yeah. Kolkata's Blood, I actually really like. They do good stuff. Their live sound engineer, the songs of Blood have been mixed by one of my 3 favorite mix engineers in Kolkata, Shubham Moitro. Shubham Da is the guitarist of Chronic Zone, and Shubham Da has mixed 2 of my own songs as well. I'm a really huge fan of Shubham Da. Who was your favorite bowler? Irfan Pathan and Zahir Khan before that. But that's before Greg Chappell screwed Irfan Pathan's cricket. Dada, what's this discussion between Bhavish? Rajiv Malhotra, yeah. It released today only. I plan to watch it. Bhavish Agarwal has balls, man. Finally, someone spoke up. Or he has maybe nothing to lose, maybe. I don't know how he did that, man. Doesn't he fear for all the foreign funding? It's really brave stuff from him. I really did not expect that. I can imagine. Okay, let me check some more comments. Only Americans say soccer. Yeah. Super popular. Almost every boy in every street play football. Yes. What is your favorite song of Moinar Ghoraguli? Amar Priya Cafe. And Moymonsinho Gitika, because my grandfather from my mother's side was from Moymonsinho. Do you like listening to background scores too? Instrumental music. I mean, yes, from 2013 onwards. My favorite thing to do at the moment is doing background scores, which I do the least of because no one gets me those jobs. But I would like to be just a background score composer. I think of myself as mainly a background score composer, and I specialize in background scores and Western classical orchestration, epic hybrid stuff that you would find on video games and stuff. I keep doing some short films from time to time, some ad jingles, etc. But my favorite thing to do is background scores. But 2013, Man of Steel released, and that really triggered me and pushed me towards background scores, especially. So from 2013 onwards, I started listening to a lot of A.R. Rahman's Tamil stuff after I went to after I got into a job in 2014. Before that, I did not know anything about the Tamil industry. So I've listened to almost every Tamil song A.R. Rahman has ever composed, and also a lot of non-A.R. Rahman songs as well, like people like Haris Jairaj, etc. But on my way to the office and way back from the office, I was listening to only background scores all day. Interstellar, Man of Steel. Then what were my favorites? Batman versus Superman, more so than Batman and Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rises was pretty good. See, I'll give you a list of my top 4 favorite composers, okay? My favorite composer of all time is Hans Zimmer. His best works are, I think, Interstellar, but mainly Man of Steel, Interstellar, Lion King first and foremost. I watched Lion King as a kid when it came for the Kolkata Film Festival, Kolkata Children's Film Festival. It released, Lion King I think released in 92 or 93. It came to Kolkata, I guess, 1 or 2 years later. So I was one of those rare kids in the entire country who watched Lion King actually in a cinema theater, and when it came, or near about the time when it came. So I did not, this is a huge coincidence in my life that I got into background scores, Western classical, just because Man of Steel was so great, just because I had become a fan of Hans Zimmer. Then, after going through his Wikipedia, I find that Lion King, which was also an insanely significant movie in my life, because I have watched Lion King count lakhs of times from my childhood. I realized, because back then no one used to check out the names of all the people who worked on the movie, right? So years later, I find out that Hans Zimmer actually did the background score for Lion King and won an Oscar for Lion King. I know all those background score melodies of Lion King by heart. I can sing you any portion of Lion King at any time you want. But Lion King, what a movie! Lion King's prequel is coming out in a few days. Yeah. Which part of Bangladesh was supposed to be with India? Was it my I have no idea. Yanni is amazing. Yes, Hakuna Matata. I like Yanni. Yes. Yanni's best live album is the one in 2011, which he did in Puerto Rico, inside a castle. Your take on video games hinting on global agendas years before they are happening. I can tell you what the Simpsons guy said, that we look at a lot of data. We collect data like maniacs, and we give our predictions based on that. So sometimes some just stick. It's not, there's nothing conspiratorial going on here. Maybe video game people are also doing that, and I don't know anything about video games. The last video game I played was FIFA 98 and FIFA 2002. Yeah, Road Rash. Thomas Newman, what a composer. Thomas Newman's best work is Finding Nemo theme song. Oh my god, what a composition! But so my favorite composer is Hans Zimmer. But my third favorite composer is actually Alexander Desplat, and different people pronounce it in different ways. Some say it's Alexandre Desplat, some say it's Alexander Splat. I pronounce it just the usual way that the spelling seems to tell me. It's Alexander Desplat. So Alexander Desplat did a score called Tree of Life. Almost nobody has watched that movie. It's a movie by a very niche sort of underground sort of a director called Terrence Malick. Brad Pitt is in the movie, but it's an absolute crazy, insane, weird sort of a story. Okay, there are dinosaurs and stuff even in Tree of Life. But the background score of Tree of Life, oh my god, is actually my favorite. But he's not my favorite composer. What's different about Tree of Life is that it has about 22 compositions, 22 pieces, but all 22 pieces are distinct from each other melodically, all distinct from each other, which does not usually happen in background scores. Okay, like in Man of Steel, there are, I guess, 3 to 4 core compositions which have been done in different ways for the entire movie. That is how it happens usually in all cases. Like every time even A.R. Rahman does the background score for a movie, it will be based on 2 3 main songs of the movie. He'll use that as a motive and then arrange it in different ways for different moods. Okay, Alexander Desplat or maybe Terrence Malick came up with this crazy idea that every piece in that movie will be a different composition. Insane. So do check out that movie sometime and do listen to the background score of that movie separately. He's my third favorite composer. A.R. Rahman is my second favorite composer. And my fourth favorite composer is a guy called Olafur Arnalds from Iceland. He has also been a huge inspiration. My fifth favorite composer is M.M. Kiravani. Ramin Djawadi, G-O-T and H-O-T-D, yes. Ramin Djawadi, by the way, is Hans Zimmer's assistant. Do you all know? Hans Zimmer, since he does not know too much music theory, and that's why I credit the Man of Steel soundtrack so much, that and Hans Zimmer so much, because I know almost no music theory. Okay, I learned a bit of theory when I started playing guitar. Then I stopped going to guitar classes or just did the practicing scales and stuff. The theory part really bored me because I'm not that into academics. I am apparently now. I wasn't when I needed to be. And then when I started playing keyboards, decided to get into background scoring a little. I learned for 6 months from a person called Shorajit Bhattacharya. He did a diploma from Berklee College of Music. So Hans Zimmer is such a composer, as opposed to John Williams, is that he makes you, that is the same effect that the Fossils 2 album had on so many people actually, that these people, these works make you think that, yeah, if I tried that, I could also do it. So it actually inspires you to pick up an instrument and start making music on your own. But if you listen to John Williams or listen to a band called Necrophagist, who actually made me quit guitar for 6 months, I stopped playing guitar after listening to Necrophagist. It's a technical death metal band. So they make you think that तुमसे म्यूजिक नहीं हो पाएगा, छोड़ो ये सब, this is too far fetched, this is a too tougher thing to do. That's what happens when I listen to John Williams, and that's what happened when I listened to Necrophagist for the first time. Oh my god, what insanity. The vocalist has an MPhil in mechanical engineering, and he's a vocalist, and he plays guitars while singing, while doing growls and stuff, because it's a death metal band, while playing absolutely insane guitars that almost like 99% of the humans on earth can't even pick up. Okay, but Hans Zimmer not only triggered me to try background scores, he triggered me to get into Western classical, which is of course a very feared subject. That, oh my god, you have to know a lot of Western classical music theory. I know absolutely almost nothing. I just know some basic chords and stuff and how chords are formed. And I have done so many Western classical compositions, orchestral compositions, just by listening to these people and listening to hours and hours of live orchestra videos on YouTube, just because I know how to sound like an orchestra. Okay, that's why I give a lot of credit to Hans Zimmer. Yes, listen to Thaman S. Yeah, I've heard that guy. So anyway, I was going to say that since Hans Zimmer is not that good in theory, what he does is he hires as assistant all those kids or aspiring composers who are insanely great at something or the other. So Ramin Djawadi is a Berklee College of Music topper, okay, in background scoring. The moment he passes, he becomes an assistant with Hans Zimmer. And with Hans Zimmer, if you are ready to give up sleep for like 4 or 5 years and work like a maniac day in and day out for Hans Zimmer, 5 years later, you have a movie of your own, or a big web series TV show for you. because everyone in LA knows you by then, right? Because Hans Zimmer has like 5-6 studios in the place called Santa Monica in California. So all the leading next gen of composers you are saying, Junkie XL, Benjamin Wallfish, who did many movies he has done on his own. Also, he did Blade Runner 2049 with Hans Zimmer. Ramin Djawadi, Junkie XL though got the first credit with Hans Zimmer for Batman vs Superman, but he was working with him for long before that. Now Junkie XL is doing on his own all the Deadpool movies, then World Engine or World Machine, that weird sci-fi story, then Mad Max. All these are being done by Junkie XL. Okay, he was Hans Zimmer's assistant. Benjamin Wallfish is a pure Western classical guy. Ramin Djawadi, since he passed out of Berkeley, Berkeley essentially prioritizes jazz over all other genres. So Ramin Djawadi might be a jazz theory genius, and he then composes Game of Thrones because everyone in LA knows you. Everyone who has been to Hans Zimmer studio knows all these composers when they were kids, so they get the next job. Another great composer is Steve Jablonsky, also an Hans Zimmer assistant, and now has his own studio, or probably has leased the studio from Hans Zimmer in Santa Monica only. The guy who does all the background scores for the Transformers movies. Okay, brilliant composer. All these are Hans Zimmer students. Ludwig Göransson just won the Oscar, right? Ludwig Göransson is I don't think he was an assistant for Hans Zimmer. He's one of those rare people who I think in this next generation of composers has made it without assisting Hans Zimmer. I mean, he probably assisted someone or the other, but what a great composer. So anyway, my third favorite composer, Alexander Desplat, also won Oscar twice for a movie called Grand Budapest Hotel, which really fucking pissed me off at the moment, because the year when Grand Budapest Hotel released, Interstellar also released, and I really wanted Interstellar to win every Oscar ever invented, but Interstellar did not even win the nomination for Interstellar's soundtrack. Okay, that pissed me off very, very much. Then I thought, okay, at least Alexander Desplat is getting the nomination. I really, really like the background score for Imitation Game, which was done by Alexander Desplat. Then I find out that he did not win even for that. He won for something called Grand Budapest Hotel. What the fuck? Then I checked out the background score and I found it's pure European folk. But some months later, I thought, okay, at least there are good melodies. But I still think Imitation Game was better than Grand Budapest Hotel. But the second time Alexander Desplat won the Oscar was for a really brilliant work called Shape of Water. A movie that released 2-3 years back. He has so many nominations already. But Hans Zimmer should have really won the Oscar for Inception, Interstellar, Man of Steel. He won it for Dune, right? I don't think he needed to win it for Dune, but Dune was so different as well. I really like Dunkirk as well. I think Benjamin Wallfish assisted him on Dunkirk. But Lion King was a really deserved one. Check out Vangelis. Vangelis's most best works are considered to be Blade Runner and Chariots of Fire, whose beat was actually inspired, which actually inspired A.R. Rahman to do the beat for Ye Hasi Wadiya. Okay, the beat that is there in Ye Hasi Wadiya was actually done about 8 years prior in a piece called Chariots of Fire, which no one knows of. No one knows the name of that piece, but almost everyone has heard of that piece because it's plagiarized so much and people use it even without asking anyone in any production house. It's just sort of a copyright free song for humanity. It's that popular. If you listen to Chariots of Fire, you'll know what I'm talking about. So anyway, the beat was exactly what A. Rahman used in Ye Hasi Wadiya. So anyway, but actually there's another movie that Vangelis did where actually he made some insane pieces. That is the Alexander the Great movie. Okay, Vangelis did the music for that. Brilliant compositions. Sergi, come back from stories, please. Yes. The verb bittersweet. Yes. I was about to sing it and I'll get copyright strike. Amar Diab can earn crores by suing Purito. Yes, of course. Bittersweet Symphony, the entire walk on the footpath. He should have won it for Interstellar. Yes. Shape of Water is a very weird movie. Yeah, I have not watched the movie. I know what it is about, but the melody is really great. Ram Sarji, heard in last audience interaction. Could you please expand on pessimistic view West Bengal? not 50 to 80 years. I think 100 years. Why I'm saying that is because, see, there have been many reforms in Islam, right? Some have tried to take it to a bit more accepting angle. Some have tried to take it to more purer, more aggressive angles. Like just before Aurangzeb, Islam, or at least Islam in India, was on a crossroads. It could have gone into a different direction. Darashikoh was supposed to take over, and Darashikoh would have taken it into a completely different direction than we see it today. Right then, Aurangzeb, motivated by his mentor, probably Syed Ahmed Barelvi, who says that we need to reform Islam because all these Muslim kings are not leading a truly Islamic religious pious life. So he reforms Islam. Aurangzeb happens. Aurangzeb kills Darashikoh, takes Islam in a different direction in India. Syed Ahmed Khan reforms, tries to do a lot of things. Maybe was not completely successful as he wanted. He wanted all Muslims to learn English, be successful, and then screw with Hindus, if at all that we can attribute that to Syed Ahmed Khan. Indirectly, we can, of course. What I'm thinking is that, yeah, for now, probably in my lifetime, Bengal will be safe with nationalistic governments, nationalistic fervor in the air. A lot of Muslims of the next generation will probably not have those aggressive tendencies, and Saudi Arabia, UAE, these people won't fund radicalization anymore. But the population is already here. Even let's say a Muslim who is being born at the moment, or a Muslim who is born 5 years from now, I think he will grow up to be a pretty liberal Muslim. Okay, because of the nationalistic air, the strong Hindutva identity in the air, because of the governments of India and West Bengal in the future, their kids or their grandkids, which will be a huge Muslim population, someone from that population will again try to do an Islamic reform, because the potential for that is already here. We already have people from the ISF. Okay, those two brothers, what's their name? I forgot. So someone is going to try to do a reform. They are going to get a funding from somewhere or the other. Who knows who wants to screw with India and West Bengal? All they need is a bit of funding, and they are going to radicalize again. And in the next radicalization, we're not going to be able to save Bengal because the population is just insanely high. And if it hasn't even happened now that Bengali Hindus or Hindus in general know what it means to awaken the Kshatriya spirit, it's not going to happen when the society is actually safer. It's going to be an even more complacent Bengali Hindu society. So I'm saying, prepare for that day, learn from our mistakes, move on from West Bengal, and try not to repeat the mistakes we made. Because 150 years from now, Bengal is not going to be in this country. And West Bengal is not going to Bangladesh, okay? They don't have the money to demand that stuff. It's going to be such a long drawn out civil war, or PADA-SF, AFSPA kind of a thing, that in the end, I think they are going to be given a different country. So I think Bangladesh might be a progressive country. There are chances, but I don't think it's going to happen. But they'll probably have a lot of problems with Bangladesh as well. I think West Bengal might be a separate Islamic country. But I also think that there's absolutely no way in hell that entire India, entire Hinduism will cease to exist. No. India, the rest of India, mostly will remain how it is today, 100, 200 years, 5,000 years from now. But only this section is impossible to be salvaged, okay? Because think of which shape of India, which shape of an empire really stayed for more than 100, 200 years. Yeah, Maratha history, Mauryan Empire, Chola Empire. So what this India that we have, let's say Pax Indica, it started in 1947, this particular shape. Even this is not going to live on for 500 years, 600 years. The average age for any Indian empire is about 120, 130 years. So 2047 tak to 100 years ho hi jayega. By then, the society is going to become complacent. There's prosperity going to be in the air all around. People are going to try to come up with new stuff, even though there is no point or no need for coming up with new stuff. Just bullshit, weird stuff is going to happen, and that's when you all will lose Bengal. Blade Runner 2049 OST is beautiful too. Yes. If Muslims turn atheist, it will be easier for Gharbatsi. Yeah, I agree on that. I came to a conclusion that Bengal and Bengal Hindus are bound to go through the sufferings. Yeah. Dumb Indian military will not allow any territorial loss at the least. Yeah. It's not up to the military, no. So you are saying that Bengali form of Hinduism will cease to exist? Yes, yes. Bengalis won't even live in West Bengal by that time. It's very weird. It was 3.1% in March, but some data shows 7 to 8%. If Muslims turn atheist, rest is fine. Do you feel the threat of a rising Muslim population? No, at the moment we don't. It's not like, I mean, of course, I will not say and not do a particular number of things, but there's no apparent threat because at the moment, both poor Muslims and poor Hindus are getting killed anyway because of the atrocities of the government. But what we know to be a distinct, a specific Muslim threat, that is going to come soon. Probably not anytime soon, but sometime. I think the eastern border area is not going to be in India, like Nadia, Malda, 224 Parganas. Don't you think all political and civilizational remedies for Bharat is rooted in Netaji's political thoughts and how it was buried alive? I can't say that because for that I need to read a lot of Netaji. I haven't. What do you think are many Muslims going to become atheists? In this generation, yes. In the next generation, the kids I talked about, let's say right now a Muslim kid is born, he'll probably might become atheist, or their Islam will be like that of uh, let's say any good Muslim that we know of, okay, who doesn't really want to kill Hindus, but their kids are not going to be like that. Have you seen the Pakistani movie Khuda Ke Liye? That's the sort of thing I'm imagining. That the parents of that kid who's becoming a terrorist, the parents are saying, "Why are you keeping a beard? Why aren't you going on with your rock band? Why are you suddenly doing these things?" Their parents are very surprised, even though their parents are kids of people who gave birth to Pakistan. So it all happens in phases. The liberal Muslim and fascist Muslim, liberal Muslim, fascist Muslim. These things happen in phases. Indian Jam project got recognized by Hans Zimmer. Yes. Dada, do you think unemployment has increased? Whatever data says. Why Bengali Muslims are more darker than Bengali Hindus? Because Bengali Muslims mainly come from the tribal population of Bengal. This myth that the lower castes converted to Islam because of Brahminical oppression is absolute horseshit. The major Islamization of Bengal happened through the tribal population, who are obviously dark skinned because they live in these parts, and the upper castes who came from other parts of India are fair skinned, like the five Gotra Brahmins who came from Kanauj, etc. Twaha Siddiqui, the uncle, is highly radicalized. Another composer in this era with a popular OST called Ameno, dabbled in Syro Latin. Yes, Abbas Siddiqui. Dada, you are a student right now. No. I'm 30. I'll be 33 soon. I'm 32 years old already. Rajesh Roshan can make good songs. For example, Dil Kyun Ye Mera Zindagi Do Pal. I don't know why he was so lazy. Yeah, Rajesh Roshan did such good work even in Kahona Pyar Hai, but he also steals so many songs. American Beauty, very weird movie, but very good soundtrack. I agree. Vangelis has something to do with Rakesh Roshan. Syed Ahmed Bareilly was thrashed by Ranjit Singh. Yes, but was he the reformer, or am I mixing him up with somebody else? Wasn't it Syed Ahmed Bareilly's son who was killed by Ranjit Singh? Or I am little hazy on the details. Heaven of Composition, Johnny Greenwood, very good film scores. Vangelis Conquest of Paradise is now going viral in the shorts. Yeah. Heard in last audio. Okay. Let's see more comments. Divide and conquer the Islamism with its existing internal fault lines like homosexuals, progressive Muslims, to push it through the change. Yeah. That is how, see, these things are going to happen. And for these things, I'm saying that what I'm predicting is probably not going to happen in my lifetime. These are great remedies, but they are not permanent solutions. Battle of Balakot. He was jihadi. Who was a reformer who brought Aurangzeb to a more pious line? Also, what are you going to discuss today? Some Rajashinandi stuff. Yeah, we did that in the beginning already. Did you join late, Ninar? Rajashidar birthday te eto ottachar korona. Lol. Bengali Muslims living near the border district are highly radicalized, more than any Muslims living in. Yeah. Bifurcation, multi-state from West Bengal won't help West Bengal. That should help. See, nothing will help unless you Shah Waliullah Delvi. Yes, that's who I'm talking about, right? Some other Delvi again will come about and do a reform, and when he does that reform again in 100 years from now, they will be in a Bengal which has 60% Muslim or 70% Muslim, because Bengali Hindus are not having kids. The Bengali Hindus are mostly middle class. who are working 12 hours a day, paying all the taxes, and they are trying to save the environment. So with antinatalism, so the population is going to be मतलब बनाया ready made population रहेगा for that next Muslim reformer. Kurd solution Bengalis won't accept though. Just mass migrate Bihari's demography. Yeah, that will be one way to save Bengal. But again, of course, that will kill Bengali culture, whatever Bengali distinct Bengali Hindu culture and stuff is there. So yeah, Bengali Hindu culture is going away anyway, whether it's at the hands of Hindu Biharis or Muslim everywhere else. Okay, how Bengali should approach to recover its lost glory, which is systemically destroyed and murdered by CPM. I think with scholarship first and foremost, and then the government has to put the right people with who have already produced great scholarship in right places in academia. Farisi movement was launched to purify Muslims from Hindu culture, just like Tablighi. Right. এই রাজস্বীদার ভিডিওটা পুরো করলে no we did that in the beginning, the specific sections I wanted to discuss. I personally think Joddar ज़्यादातर Bengali Muslim come from Santal Munda background, but they call themselves descendants of no, you are right. They mainly come from tribal backgrounds. Farisi movement, okay. Just mass migrate Bihari. Bifurcation, yeah. So I'm saying that bifurcation multi-state is not going to work, because if you allow them to come willy-nilly, then it's going to be the same problem in that new separate smaller West Bengal, right? But you see, after you all lose West Bengal from India, prevention of illegal immigration might be a reality, might be actually feasible, because the porous borders are all between the Bangladesh of today and the West Bengal of today. But if West Bengal becomes a distinct country, your borders are basically Kishanganj, Purnia, those places of Bihar. So they are pretty easily, you can man those posts. You can pretty easily prevent illegal immigration from these parts. So I think it's going to be much safer for the rest of India 200 years from now. And besides the things that people are going to learn, the lessons that people are going to learn from losing West Bengal, those are going to prevent a lot of things for years to come. Your idea of future of Bengal is similar to what I think of Kerala. Yeah, but you see, Kerala does not have any neighbors who are also egging them on. No, that's why Kerala might just get saved. Tantre Fero. Bengali Muslims living near the yeah. A Hindu girl from 24 Parganas said on Facebook that RSS BJP prosecuting innocent helpless. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Kishanganj jo marka mara jayega. Yes. We will finish 3% Brahmins in 3 minutes. Came from a Hindu, not a yeah. If India can keep Kashmir, they can do it with Bengal. That is what I was thinking. That yeah, India and Kashmir got salvaged. I have thought about it, and for some reason, I thought West Bengal is not salvageable, and I at the moment can't remember why I came to that conclusion. I'm sorry. Okay, Salvatore Babones sir is here. Hello, sir. When you think about it, it's pretty incredible that pre-partition India was still only 25% Muslim after 5 centuries of colonization. Consider Malaysia, Indonesia for comparison. Yeah, and back then we did not have antinatalism and progressive middle class paying taxes to everyone. Of course they did, but they did not. At least the mothers did not work for 12 hours. Now we have those extra handicaps. Kishanganj is Muslim majority area within Bihar. Yeah, but see, Bihar is such a staunch Hindu state. No, like Abhishek Tiwari was saying about 1.5 years back that some things in Bihar are beyond political parties. Even that, let's say some like that thing which Anjan Datto, that Anjan Datto song I was talking about, no, Ranjanami Rajbana. That is what happens in Bihar even today. That পায়ে ঢুকলে ঠ্যাং খোঁড়া করে দেবো বলেছে পাড়ার দাদারা. If a Muslim guy is trying to date a Hindu guy, people are going to look at him with so much suspicion. And if he especially tries to run away with that girl, it doesn't even matter which political party who is from. All Hindu guys from the locality will find that Muslim guy and return that girl safely back home. So therefore Bihar is a different ball game altogether. Bihar is very caste conscious, yeah, and they still have their own personal laws and waqf board. Yes, and the population. Mainly, I'm talking about population. So if Kashmir got saved, why not West Bengal? I can't spend my live stream thinking about that now. Maybe if I can remember it later on, I'll do that. But as far as I'm concerned, I think Bengal can't be saved, even if Kashmir was saved. By the way, I sent a super chat, but YouTube crashed. They charged me, so let me know if you don't get it. Oh my god. Let's see. I can't see any super chat, sir. Sorry. For now, I can't see it. Kashmir isn't safe though. Legally, it is at the moment. How do you personally deal with the possibility of disappearance of Bengali Hindus? I think it's the law of nature. Reap what you sow. Gangsters like Ashok Mahato, Akhilesh Singh get overwhelming support on caste lines. Yes, just temporary solution for Kashmir so far. Kishanganj is Bengal's Khidirpur Metia Bros. Yes, we had Kshatriya mindset. Then Hindu population was not affected by secularism. Yeah. Let me tell you guys what an insane thing I discovered yesterday. We had a new showcase brought into our house, and we let go of an old showcase. So many old books were stacked into that showcase. Okay, which we never read, we never take out. They're just old books from my childhood, from my parents' childhood. We found an insane book in Bengali called Book of Knowledge. It used to be a sort of an encyclopedia sort of a thing from a legendary Bengali publisher called Dev Sahitya Kutir. So that book is from 1979. My grandfather gifted that book to my mom because he had the hope that my mom will also do the UPSC and stuff. So knowledge, not for really knowledge sake maybe, but for preparing for different exams. Back then, every Indian parent used to do that. That Book of Knowledge book costs about costs 60 rupees in 1979, but and it's this thick. Okay, but the fun part was that I skimmed through that Book of Knowledge, and I've heard of that book so much ever since my childhood that my grandmother used to always say that if you ever get the time, read that book, read that Book of Knowledge. Have you read the Book of Knowledge? Why don't you read the Book of Knowledge? Everyone was excited about that book called the Book of Knowledge. Okay, it was sort of a Bengali encyclopedia of different topics. So finally, day before yesterday, I skimmed through it, and you won't believe some insane things that I found. So remember, it's 1979. Okay, apparently, in 1979, commies have not taken over academia completely or mainstream discourse completely, because like every topic or every famous Indian character is described in one or two paragraphs. Okay, so when it comes to Muhammad Ghori Ghazni, they say that these people destroyed temples. They destroyed the Ujjain Mahakal temple. That is a pretty big admission. Okay, in 1979 even Indira Gandhi is there. Then a paragraph on Veer Savarkar in Bengali, and it does not have one mention of the petition or the Muchleka. It just says Savarkar was a staunch nationalist, fierce revolutionary, tried to kick out the British, went to study law, got arrested, tried to escape, jumped from the ship, jumped into the water, arrested again, on the way to Andaman, again jumps out of the sea, and then died in this year and that. Okay, that's all that's written about Savarkar. Can you believe it? Were you in Venezuela at some point? No. Do you think Kashmir is inching towards that Muslim reformer with new development? Not anytime soon. Kashmir is now going through that liberalization reform setting. Okay, grandkids of these modern day Kashmiris, Shaila Rashid and stuff, they will probably do a reform again. Radicalized Pasmanda Muslims are the modern religious slaves of the. Oh my God, you're going to demonetize my channel by just reading that. Dada is Mafiveer narrative. Yeah. This Mafiveer narrative got popular in 90s. Yeah. After Ram Janmabhoomi. That is what it seems like. In 1979, there's no mention of a Mafi from Veer Savarkar. If your theory about Bengal is like that, I wonder how it will go for Assam. Assam does not have any problem that the Bengali Hindus have. No. Assam is not filled with commies. Assam is not filled with liberal Bengalis trying to save the environment. So therefore, that's the only reason Assam will not face that problem. Hans Zimmer's Gladiator. What a score. Is Modi's third time going to reach Deng Xiaoping level of reform? If the seats are more than 350. Kashmir, in where it was 10 years ago, stone pelting strikes, frequent terrorist attack. It's just that Pakistan doesn't have money to fund anything here. Kashmir is where. I think that's going to be Bengal's scenario by the time I'm an old person. What are your views on Gorkhaland? If it does not become a separate state, then it will also be Islamized. Have you ever been to Northeast? Do you think Nepali Hindus and Nepali Christians are going to let it become Islamized? Pakistan light versions created in Malda Murshidabad. So I haven't thought about Gorkhaland in a long time, but I used to be in favor of Gorkhaland. At least when I was a commie. Not because I was a commie, because I know Nepalis personally. So I had no reason of thinking that. I mean, why force them to live in such a Bengali state? Okay, so everything is divided on language lines only. So why shouldn't they have their own stuff? But I will say this: Mamta Banerjee actually handled the demands for Gorkhaland at least way better than Jyoti Basu. It's not that Jyoti Basu also did not handle it in any way. I guess the central government should have handled it a little better. I'm not exactly sure how much help Jyoti Basu got from the central government, but what he did was he created something called DGHC, Darjeeling Gorkha Hill Council. So basically, the entire Gorkhaland demanded region, Darjeeling, Kalimpong, Kurseong, etc., Lava, Lolegaon, the center for all that became the place called Darjeeling, and all that entire place was Darjeeling district. I think including Siliguri or some parts of Siliguri, as far as I remember. So what happens when that DJC came about is that Darjeeling, the people in Darjeeling, in the hill station called Darjeeling, reap all the funds of the entire DGHC. So the places like Kalimpong were absolutely impoverished, underdeveloped. Okay, uh, the Kalimpong I grew up in was basically a story from like the 40s or 50s. Okay, you have to save one bucket of water for the next 2 days. Okay, you have countless barrels and buckets, just because whenever water does come for a few minutes, you have to save up as much as you can. After 5 p.m., 6 p.m., your 100 watt power bulb will look like a fucking beady. And there were two reservoirs. One was dry, and only one reservoir supplied water to the entire area of Kalimpong. So uh, pretty bad times. Now I was a kid living in a hill, so I did not have any I did not think of those things as a problem. But as an adult, I realized what bad life the adults were having in that place. Now all that is solved. Mamta Banerjee made a master stroke there. She broke up that entire Darjeeling district and declared all of these places as separate districts. So what happens is, therefore, their unity gets broken, and then they don't quib about just Gorkhaland demands anymore. And they get funds and they develop whatever they can for their own districts. And that's the first time when I went to Kalimpong last was on my bike in 2017. Yeah, a few months before my accident. That was the last motorcycle trip of my life, and I went back to the beautiful place of my childhood. That was a fun thing. It all came to a full circle. So uh, as you go to Kalimpong, there are some other roads you can take. One road goes to Sikkim, one road goes to Darjeeling, one road actually goes to Sikkim and Kalimpong. Then you have to leave the Sikkim road as well, and then just go up to Kalimpong. That is where specifically Kalimpong district begins. And that road, you won't believe. I mean, now you can believe if you are a late 90s born kid who now goes to Kalimpong and stuff, it will be commonplace for you. But since I lived in Kalimpong in 1990, in 2001, 2002, those times, Kalimpong was basically civilizationally a joke. But when I'm going there in 2017, those roads are like Salt Lake Sector 5 in Kolkata. Okay, unbelievable. And everywhere there are posters of Mamta Banerjee. Okay, everyone seems to be a supporter of Mamta Banerjee, even Nepalis. Okay, which was unheard of when I lived there. Back then, no Nepali almost, at least everyone around me, all my friends, they didn't even know who the chief minister of the state was. They didn't know who the prime minister of the country was. They were so detached, far removed from the mainstream society. All they knew was we are part of a country called India. Someday we have to join the army. We have to serve this country. And therefore, the biggest celebration in all of these hill stations was always Independence Day. Every school comes out with their processions, sings Jana Gana Mana patriotically, but culturally they were pretty removed. They didn't know who the chief minister was. And now in 2017, everyone is talking about Mamta Banerjee. That was a masterstroke. Creation of Gorkhaland is a valid proposition to save it from Islamization. So I don't see what Islamization has got to do with the Gorkha land demand. At least off the top of my head, I can't think of one, because I know that there are some lots of mosques coming up, but the Gorkha people in general are a different breed, whether it be Hindu Nepalis or Christian Nepalis. Christianization has already happened, but it has not led to any violence and stuff. So Muslim Nepalis might be a different matter, but I don't see how Hindu Nepalis are further going to let it happen, or even the Christian Nepalis are especially not going to let it happen. People have no idea how bad FOS was during near his time. Middle East political equations: pan Arab nationalist republicanism versus monarchy versus theocracy, and monarchy is almost always better than theocracy. He might actually do something about freedom of speech in India. I think so. Dada, did you notice Modi keeps talking about, yeah. I think he's planning to do something. Even Yogi Adityanath talked about that First Amendment of ours in his discussion with the Aaj Ki Adalat. So I think they might improve freedom of speech, and if that happens, man, the narrative war is done. Watch Mosab Yusuf interview with Douglas Murray. Yeah, I will. I asked 4 drivers I had in present Kashmir and a receptionist about Kashmir, Modi, BJP, Governor Saab, Abdullah, Mufti, etc. And I got to know everyone unanimously hates Modi and BJP and Governor Ullah. This fanaticism will keep coming back because it has its foundations in right, and the reforms will keep happen. All you need is a population, and the population is there in Bengal. Kalimpong, Kashing are beautiful places, yes. Unlike AIM, Sai Deepak says that reconciliation with Islam is not possible because the exclusivism. What do you mean by reconciliation? That needs to be clarified first. Mamta's masterstroke, yeah. Will Modi do the same reform? And think of Kalimpong this way. We kind of have Kalimpong by a sheer weird happenstance of history. Kalimpong was actually a part of Bhutan. The only reason Kalimpong stayed with India is because the British had defeated Bhutan and kept it under them. So when independence happens, Kalimpong does not go back to Bhutan. So all the insane demands of Kashmir could have as well applied to Kalimpong even. No one made that demand because Gorkhas are not like that, or Nepalis are not like that. Although there are some accusations that Gorkhas oppressed the other indigenous populations of those places like Lepchas and stuff. I don't know about those things too much. Will Modi do the same reform he did in Gujarat third term if it's more than 350? But if government feel like they have to do it slowly, yeah, this is the perfect time for reform when you know opposition is not winning. Vajra is Indra, weapon of lightning. AIM says that the fanaticism in Muslims in India is thanks to the feudalistic structure unlike UAE today, but didn't Turkey make a... Yeah, see, whatever Ankit Shah is saying about de-radicalization, whatever AIM, I mean, they don't agree on everything. Whatever radicalization, de-radicalization, the history of Islam did not happen just because of one country's funding, right? So whatever has happened in the history of Islam, all the phases, good things, nice things, not good things, all of them will keep happening as long as there is Islam. And the next time it happens, all you need is a population, and that population is there in Bengal. While facing them is a population which is very, very less in number. Even let's say the progressive Bengalis who might give birth to radical Hindus, even they are not going to have too many kids. Okay, 1 kid or no kids. So who's going to stop even if they want to? So all I request you from okay, let's say someone is watching this video in 2150. Okay, please, dear non-Bengali brethren of the country, let that Bengali Hindu enter your state. Don't get pissed off with him now. Please let them enter and then fix your borders. Last time, just 2 months after re-election, they abrogated Article 370. So can't wait for the fun stuff going to happen if they win good majority. Now the Nepalis did that because of a common regio-cultural identity, and the Lepcha thing is an interjati fight that happens everywhere. Okay. Many Muslims from central Bengal are moving to North Bengal, especially to the Gorkha. Yes, they are. I don't think they can take it up too much with them. See, Nepalis, when push comes to shove, they don't care about like stuff like even career safety and stuff. I knew of one school in the hills where the principal of the school got slapped by the driver, by his Nepali driver, because the principal pissed him off in some way that morning. And the principal couldn't even do anything. I think the Supreme Court is realizing that judiciary reform is coming to bite their ass in third time, dishing out. And I think so too. But Indian Muslim society has never supported reformists and progressive people like Hamid Al. Oh, मीरा त्रिपाठी, मैं तो वो रिफॉर्म की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं तो वो रिफॉर्म की बात कर रहा हूँ जो कि औरंगजेब को अपने बाप दादाओं का डिबॉचरी से पायस इस्लाम की तरफ ले आया. दैट रिफॉर्म, ओके. एनी रिफॉर्म दैट, anything that changes the direction of a way of thinking or a particular thing is a reform. So I'm talking about that kind of reform, which is the mistake many people make when they say that Syed Ahmed Khan was a reformer. Yes, he was not a reformer in the good sense, or Syed Ahmed Badalvi. If they bring freedom of speech, that would be historic. Yes. Rajan, do you want to discuss Tantra someday? Yeah. POK is coming back to India sometime. Yes, but after, I don't know. Isn't there going to be some kind of check about whether they are also radical Islamists or not? Because again, I'm talking about their descendants. I'm not talking about the people today. Bengalis can come to my state, but don't bring your communism here. By the time the things I'm talking about happens, there's going to be no Bengali communism. Okay, the Bengali communists are not having enough kids to even like fight the Bengali Hindus. वो छोड़ी दो, बंगाली नाम बंगाली लिबरल कमी कुछ नहीं रहेगा 50 साल बाद. I'm talking about staunch Bengali Hindutwadis, but very less in number versus 60-70% Muslims who want a different country. I'm relocating to Karnataka to preach communism. Catholicism. ब्रह्मवंदम 2.0. मैं अच्छे वाले रिफॉर्म की बात कर रहा था. या अच्छे वाले रिफॉर्म तो दूर के, अच्छे वाले रिफॉर्म अभी होंगे थोड़ा नेक्स्ट 50-60 साल. American First Amendment is an absolute game changer for India, lol. Yes, but that can't happen without easy access to guns, man. Yeah, you are free to say it. Yeah, 295A can't be thrust upon you, but who's going to save you from the sword? Only your gun. POK population क्या करोगे? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. TFR. Yes, that is the only game in town. Remember what? Yeah, of course. Sir, have you read about Sri Aurobindo prophecies? Pakistan will get divided into 5 parts, and Sanatan around the world will increase. Yeah. The problem with Sanatan of around the world will increase is that Sanatan Dharma or India or Hindu rishis will not get any credit for it. Okay, Sanatan will increase, but with different names, with chakra healings and stuff in California. Okay, and stupid liberalism as well. But that's not entirety of Sanatan Dharma, but it will have, let's say it will reek of Sanatan Dharma to some extent. But even the great values of Sanatan Dharma will actually go around the world, but it will be treated as something innovative that some other country did. Hinduism is not going to get any credit for it, and the Pakistan 5 pieces, yeah, may or may not happen. I think it will happen. I have not read these prophecies. I have read only Sri Aurobindo's, not completely, a lot of it, of his book, The Life Divine. You mean cultural digestion? Dada, do you support Umar Khalid? No, for what? What has he done to get my support? Leftist journalists like Samdesh creating sympathy for him. Why? Because he's stuck in the prison. But he, if that thing about him is true, that the Delhi riot, if he was an active member in the organization of it, then what is there? Then try your case. If it's allowed, I mean, if the case is solid enough, arrest him that way or let him out. I'm a bit hazy on the details. He was not the one who called for Assam to be cut off, right? Sharjil Imam, yeah, that's an even crazier thing. UAPA laga diya. Yeah, but for the Delhi riots thing, right? You can't organize riots, of course. I want to preach. Okay, demonetize करवाएगा मेरा. American First Amendment, yeah. So anyway, I'm connecting. अच्छे वाले reform. Do you have any idea about Bengali Hindus apart from Kolkata? Are they aware of their existential threat, or are they also living in Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb? The percentage of Hindus in the total voter base of Trinamool Congress is 20%. Okay, not 20% of Bengal and stuff. Listen to this data very carefully. The total number of people who vote for Trinamool, only 20% of that is Trinamool. The rest are all BJP. A majority of that is BJP, and some are CPM. So you see, they do know what's up. But the moment they prosper and come to the city, or don't even come to the city or go elsewhere, they are going to work 12 hours and pay everything in taxes. But if not, work 12 hours anyway, regardless of what their tax situation is. Okay, 9 hours job with chilled out income is not happening. Maybe it can happen in the next 5 years. That's one thing I hope for. I don't know if the time is ripe for that even, but some drastic change needs to happen in this in this tax and education expenditure situation. It's not sustainable. So at the moment, even if TFR rises, what's the point of having 4 kids if they are going to be in a uh, be with your governess or in a creche all day? Okay, they're going to all grow up to be anxiety and depression ridden kids who will probably kill themselves by the time they're 20 or 21. Okay, unless parenting education costs are fixed or mended, TFR is even not going to help you. Only thing that will help you is being dirt poor and living like Dostoevsky. Like you have a great family bonding and you are dirt fucking poor, and everyone thinks of you as a, oh my poor baby, literally poor baby, and here's some tax money for your freebies. Unless you are that, there's no point of your TFR. My classmate was Nepali, he went USA. Last time, just 2 months. Oh, yeah, this I read. Okay, there was something about Ankit Shah, but Ankit Shah has said if 379 was managed without 370 was managed without bloodshed, POK will be easy. या POK आ तो जाएगा, वो लोग तो आना चाहते हैं. मेरा सवाल है कि वो कितना इस्लामिस्ट है कि नहीं और उनके बच्चों का क्या करे. रिफॉर्मर तो कोई बाद में फिर आएगा ही आएगा, तब क्या होगा? That sympathy was created for him by a Bengali Brahmin girl named Bonojotsna Lahiri. Aha. Who considered him as her best friend. Bono Jyotsna, what a beautiful name. Now, creches can be made into center of Hindu communes. Think out of the box. Even if Hindu communes, it can't happen with Hindu communes because everyone is going to be working 12 hours a day unless we have housewives. Okay, housewife के बगैर तो वो Hindu commune ठीक है. Let's say it is a creche where Ramayana is taught. Parent is a parent. It can't happen without seeing parents in front of your eyes. Any comment on 12 on 18 seats polled so far? Yeah, I think it will be 18 or above. Dada, I asked you a question last day. Since you work in the Bangla movie music industry, don't you fear? Yeah, I'm not going to give out my secrets of this. Okay, I think I take some subtle steps which might prevent me, but it's not completely, of course, foolproof because after all, I'm making these videos. So I just hope for the best. I'm not fully sure that I'm doing enough to safeguard my music career. I just hope that I'm big enough to not get cancelled. That's not absolute freedom of speech. And then question comes, what is speech? Umar Khalid is MA history and said Savarkar. Savarkar first talked about two-nation theory. Are you saying monkey balancing is the key at the workplace? Monkey balancing in, of course, Tollywood is the key to the Tollywood workplace, but that ship has long sailed for me, right? I can't do anything about that now anymore. But being too big to fail might be a thing. That, let's say, if someday, years from now, I complain about some director or producer saying that, see, I think I'm not getting a job because they are pissed off with me for making that video. How dare they, so bad. So there can be a lot of people to stand by me. So what? ওইখানে তো working people থাকবে, they for 12 hours a day can act as what the fuck is a temporary parent? There's no such thing as a temporary parent. Hate speech, but yeah. Actually, I support free speech. Yeah. Sir, when Sri Aurobindo said Sanatan will increase, he said in the context that Akhand Bharat will happen and Bharat will be at the center of it. Full credit. No. When Sri Aurobindo was writing that, he did not know that USA and China were going to do the things they did, right? So the economic might at the end of the day is everything. Dharmasya moolam artha, okay? तो हमारा अर्थ यूएसए और चाइना से ऊपर तो हमारे लाइफ टाइम में नहीं जाएगा. सो देयरफॉर हमारा क्रेडिट भी कोई और ही ले जाएगा. Any comments on 18 seats polls? I have heard minimal chappa vote is happening. Yeah. TMC 3-4 and with two seats to left. I don't think CPIM is getting too much seats this time, but I think overall 18 to 25 is what BJP is getting. But if we let West Bengal go, what gonna happen to population exchange thing? Otherwise, it's never gonna end. See, it's not about letting West Bengal go. It's not like our future Indians will one day decide that why don't we let West Bengal go? They are going to be made to let West Bengal go. But the population exchange might not be that that much of a necessity, because the rest of the country is going to have a significant strong Hindu population, and in high numbers, which Bengal doesn't have. Bengal doesn't have high Hindu numbers, neither does it have staunch Hinduness. When the staunch Hinduness is going to increase, it's still not going to have high numbers. But it's not going to be a porous border between Bihar and this hypothetical Islamic state of West Bengal, Islamic state of Bengal in the year 2150. Are by temporary parents? I will. Yeah, I know what you mean, but that's not a solution. They are going to and take care of their health for 12 hours, and the other 12 hours they can go home with their actual parents like a hostel. Yeah, that's not going to happen unless it happens with very specific gurus, and people who are going to take care of them have to be that qualified, which we don't know when they will be that qualified. And the parents have to the other 12 hours, which when parents come back from home, instead of watching IPL and chilling a little, they are going to have to spend with the kid, which I don't see how it's going to happen unless there are changes in the education and the education financing system. Education cost might go down, but unless it happens, I don't see how parents are going to help, because what we are not going to be helped with is people with 4 kids who are going to be drug addicts and suffering from depression, anxiety, bipolarity, etc. Even if the parent does not believe in the mental health mafia propaganda, what are they going to do when everyone in the school, the school counselor, therapist, the women's rights activists, the social workers, all of them are going to say that no, your child is depressed as fuck, send him to a therapist? How many people are you going to stand up to? Okay. And you are also going to have doubts ultimately that, okay, yeah, I was an edgelord when I was 25 on YouTube comment section, but now it's my kids. Am I really that sure that my kids don't have something called a depression or anxiety? And your wife or husband may be even further to the left in this mental health mafia context, and they might say, no, you are absolutely screwing our child's future. So the moment he goes to the therapist, he's done. And outside that, he needs parental company. So where's that parental company going to come from? Oh, important questions. What's up with India-US relation? Is it deteriorating? It seems like India is also talking about election interference now in diplomatic language. Yeah, I would have been more sure of India-US relations if Elon Musk had already set up his factory. But I guess he was asked by some people to not do it at the moment, or maybe he's just not happy with the taxes anyway. So let's see what happens after elections if Elon Musk comes. ISF, which is a Muslim party only, right now they are hiding behind the garb of secularism, but they won't as soon as BJP will be in power. I think there will be negotiations between BJP and ISF as well. See, none of what I'm predicting is going to happen in our lifetimes. USA is too clever since they have sensed a comfortable Modi victory. Now they are saying UPI gazab hai. Sir, I don't know why, but I have a feeling that when Bengal gets saffronized and leaves communism, no other state would be able to compete with Bengal in Hindutva. It will be revolutionary. Yes, but the one thing that saffronization or Hindutva will counter is the TFR of Muslims and the potential for someday another Muslim reformer coming up. Because reformers usually come up when the situation is most dire, right? At the moment, there are no significant Muslim reformers because the condition of Muslims is not dire. When it is dire, someone will read a hadith or the Quran somewhere and decide that it is time to get back to the real Islam. Oh, by the way, did you read the report about falling Hindu demographics? Yes. No, I mean I didn't read the entire paper by Shamika Ravi, but I know what it says. How to become secular. Also, any thoughts on Vivek Ramaswamy and Kultur controversy? Yeah, Vivek handled it so brilliantly. He did not get emotional. He countered it and actually made a brilliant point that you are saying these things only because so many other things around you are screwed. You are just reacting to that, whereas you could come up with a more legit solution, which is he did not say that, but what the fuck are you going to do when me and Joe Biden come face to face? Are you going to vote for Joe Biden? All of Vivek's supporters, all white people said that but they are very pissed off with Ann Coulter, obviously, that who are you going to vote for in case of Joe versus Vivek? Huh? You are going to vote for Joe? Are you crazy? So Ann Coulter was also trying to trigger a conversation about these things. She touched the right nerves. She pissed the right people off. But yeah, she was going to vote for Vivek, obviously, if it came down to Joe versus Vivek. How to become secular? Step 1: put All India in front of your party name. Bengali Hindutva will be violent. That's what I fear. They will first target the commies, and this violence will be highlighted nationwide by Ravish and gang to point Hindutva in a bad way. I fear that. Uh, Possibly, but remember what mysterious sociologists pointed out, that whenever it's a right-leaning government anywhere in the world, there's actually so much scrutiny that the right-leaning government actually does not even end up doing the potential violent things that it could have ended up doing if it had the same kind of lackluster coverage that a commie government gets. So maybe Shubhendu will try to rule the state with a tight fist, but maybe he won't be. Maybe he will just be a fantastic democratic chief minister, because there's going to be insane amounts of scrutiny. Vivek will be targeted by both Democrats as well as Republicans, as he actually wants a deep state free USA which puts individualism above everything, and that won't happen. Yeah, that ship has sailed in USA. और इन भाई CGI बन जाऊंगा तो तब बात करेंगे. वाह 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 वाह. BJP's academia disbalance can be handled by West Bengal BJP government, but with 1825 in 2014, can BJP come to power in 2026? I think so. Balche Runun Yogi, but Hindutva Rashtaniti version. What's Runun Yogi? Jalsha heard if BJP gets a comfortable victory in 2024, they'll most likely go for a press rule in West Bengal. I think they are not going to go for president's rule in West Bengal, because that speaks very lowly about Modi's rule, that because he's trying to come off as a top of the world class state of the art statesman. No. So what kind of a statesman are you that you need to suspend democracy in a state to handle that state? Couldn't you do it in any better way? So Article 370 obviously helped India's impressions in that context as well. So I don't think Modi is going to do that, no matter what. President rule is not going to happen, not more than a week at least. Because investments and stuff, global image, all of that goes down the drain. Oh, go look up Nugi and what he did to Naxals, and maintains democracy. Vivek needs to start preaching Catholicism. It's time now. That's the only way for him to be president. No. He will, see, those Ankulter kind of people, even Ankulter would have voted for Vivek anyway. But the people who would actually not vote for Vivek just because he's Hindu or brown are not a significant, important percentage in any way. Who are the gigantic crowds shouting VP, VP when they see Vivek with Trump? It's all white people only. So 2028, so see what Vivek does. BJP's academic disbalance, Bengali Hindutva. Okay. We discussed a lot of stuff today. Democracy is already getting gangbanged in West Bengal, but thing is that leftists are enjoying that. Yeah. That is what is not going to happen, because there's going to be so much media scrutiny. Trump voters won't, I think. No. Trump voters absolutely will. Trump voters will be the first one to vote for Vivek, because everyone other than Trump voters are opposed to everything that Trump and Vivek say. Remember this. Trump and Vivek are in one very, very specific faction of the Republican Party. Okay. Everyone else is in a different faction. Trump and Vivek are in one faction. The only reason Vivek could not reach higher percentages was because his Jewish funding got cut off right after he said that, yes, I support Israel's right to exist, but I don't think America should fund Israel. That's the moment that all his funding stopped. Because then Jewish people started funding Nikki Haley, because Nikki Haley said, I'll bomb Iran, I'll bomb Palestine, I'll bomb anyone, I'll bomb cartoon Mickey Mouse and everyone. So that's when in mainstream news media, news channels, stuff watched by old people, everyone, all they started seeing only Nikki Haley ads. And Vivek was not going to do those ads anyway with his crowdfunding. He instead got handicapped with all the funding going to Nikki Haley and his funding getting stopped. Otherwise, it was Trump. Many more potential Trump voters were going to vote for him. But anyway, this time it was, of course, at the end of the day, Trump only, because Americans are doing one insane, hilarious, stupid horseshit thing, which is going to be very bad for their country. Who gives a shit? But they have this emotional view of Trump, that Trump deserves to become the president once more. He has earned the right to be the candidate once more. Oh my God. That's the most insane thing I've heard in politics, at least in American politics. So they are going to get screwed because of that. If it was Vivek versus someone else this time around, Democrats were screwed anyway. But it's going to be Trump versus Biden. I think they are going to face another 4 years of only. Hamare Democrats only. Jews controlling everything. No, I don't think Jews are controlling everything, but they have large funding, of course. I wish them best. So see, before someone tries to demonetize my channel, all I'm saying is that you, dear Jewish people, you are doing a great thing for your community. I wish Hindus did the great thing, the same great things. So I'm not saying you are doing a bad thing. I'm saying we wish we had people like yours as well. Young American right wing, yeah, yeah, of course it's with Vivek, and the next generation is also be going with Vivek. Just when Trump goes out of the scene, then doctors will drive taxis during night. Cuba forever. But I've seen many Trump supporters who are social media influencers were painting him in a bad light. They were saying Vivek is not trustworthy. That's a very, very minuscule minority of a fraction of a people. And they were doing it early on, much early on, when Vivek was just entering the scene. Okay. But especially after withdrawing from the candidacy, the way he supported Trump, etc., all their concerns have been washed away. Now even more people are with Vivek. And if he's going to go on with this podcast of his, so even more. Veer Savarkar and Vivek Ramaswamy have same type of personality. Oh my God, I forgot to bring that book here. I read something in Hindu Rashtra Darshan the other day from our membership live streams, day before yesterday, I think, or the last to last days of Hindu Rashtra Darshan. I'm pretty convinced that Veer Savarkar was the Vivek Ramaswamy of his time. He was saying something which I can't remember exactly what. Like all the things we already know about these people, these two people are they already seem similar, but something very specific that Veer Savarkar wrote in that book is almost a Vivek Ramaswamy quote. Don't take me lightly. Let's prepare for Maoist cultural revolution. 1 lakh in everybody's account. Caste survey, wealth survey, and redistribution going to happen soon. Yeah, when are we going to redistribute Rahul Gandhi's dogs? I think I can pet him better or her. If Muhammad Salim wins in Murshidabad, it will be example of true secularism when demography doesn't matter. Of course, Murshidabad is a 70%. Yeah. Pather Davi. Thank you. I'm just talking shit. Please don't demonetize this. Don't get caught up in the deep state fan propaganda. BJP winning it, but unsure if they'll cross 350. Him supporting Trump openly and locally was his masterstroke. He's a very shrewd politician, man. Manti have street smart puro. Yes. Or maybe he just might be a truly good human being or a nice, perfect human being. Okay, let me see what Lokavya is saying. With regards to the Islamization of West Bengal, is it sincere or is it just a projection of self-defeated Hindu Bengali nationalist and his pessimistic perspective that will save what will save Bengal versus what will kill it? His self-defeated Hindu Bengali nationalist and his pessimist. I mean, this his is me, right? No. This is a cold, hard, calculated speculation. Because if I was self-defeating, I would say much self-defeating things even right now. I'm saying that in the near future, only great things are in stock for Bengal. Narendra Modi was saying he plans to make Kolkata the hub of entire Southeast Asia and stuff. So great things are in stock, are in store, but not in the long future, because reforms keep happening. Okay, in Islam, and all that reform is going to need is a population, which Bengal has. And the population problem is not going to be reversed anytime soon. No, perfect human being to what? Prashant Kishore can be opposition leader. You are just scared of wealth survey. Lol. Can ISKCON fix Bengal? No. Absolutely not. When are you going to read Nicholas Dirks? We read some of his papers already. Some of his books maybe sometime later. But I really liked his papers and understood it a lot already. Dada, why do you think Hindu Mahasabha didn't become big like BJP? Because the ruling governments didn't want them. Of course, it's at the end of the day, again, party funds are a thing. And if you have one party trying to collaborate happily with the government, with the people who are planning to leave India, but they want some of their own guys in the country, and you are ready to be their guy, it's game over for Hindu Mahasabha. Vivek is a mixture of HBS. Who is HBS? Annamalai, Sanjeev Sanyal. Yeah. And a lot of Jay Sadipak as well because of auditory. At the end of the day, auditory is everything, man. Like we were listening to Srijit Datta's last day's podcast. Keshav Chandrasen influences everybody to become Christian or harmonize Christianity and Hinduism just because of auditory skills. Safety valve, yes. I can fix him. Same vibes, yes. Hindu Mahasabha was crushed right after Godse murdered Gandhi, yeah. Yeah, Himanta Biswa Sharma, yeah. See, Ninar, you reminded me a great thing that Hindu Mahasabha was not even completely decimated, even at the time of independence. No, like Savarkar's plan was that let this election go. In the next election, we are going to fight. After that, everything goes to hell because Godse ends up killing Gandhi, which I don't think. I think there are enough materials. There is enough material to speculate that he was goaded into doing this by someone on the other side. Only Catholicism can save Bengal. I urge all Hindus to convert en masse to Catholicism. What do you think about our gurus using science to explain traditions, part of inferiority complex? Uh no, it's not like science is something opposed to this stuff, but yeah, great research paper would be, of course, uh, uh, more warrantable. I don't know if this is too much of personal territory. So if someone gets good wisdom and stuff from a guru who is doing it that way, so maybe it's possible. I haven't given this much thought. I'll think about it some other time. Shatarup, Srijan, Ipshita, etc. can also accept Islam to fight fascism and win election. Why can't there be multiple young Kobi Shumans, the politician? Yeah, Kobi Shuman, who himself accepted Islam. So yeah, Shatarup, Srijan, Ipshita, not Shatarup, but mainly Srijan, Oishi, etc. They are the next generation of main opposition of BJP, okay? And they are going to join hands with those Muslim reformers. That's when you'll realize that what I was saying was true. Or at least the next iterations of Srijan, Oishi, etc. Maybe their kids. You've described the foreseeable death of West Bengal, so it's only fair to describe what might save it. Maybe we need to talk about Shah Abdul Rahim Shah, Waliullah Dehlvi, his son Barelvi, Ismail, all the history. What will save it? I don't think it can be saved because whatever can be done to save it will be tried by everyone in India. The government, the army, everyone, the Bengali Hindus themselves of West Bengal, who I think will be much more staunch Hindus when that hypothetical scenario comes in. But it's not going to be enough. Akhondo Bangla, yeah. Think of the name of that country, guys, in the hypothetical scenario. Why did Raja Ramon Roy wanted to eradicate Sanskrit and impose English and Christianity in India? Ask this to Srijit Datto on Twitter. Hypothetically, Hindus can, and the premise is also not correct. Hypothetically, Hindus can wake up if we accidentally elect India Alliance and actually try implementing crazy shit. So I think maybe India might be a good choice. No. BJP rule make us complacent. He was Brown Sahib. West Bangladesh, of course. No. I think a little more innovative name is in order. We need Tiger Raja in every state. He was a powerful businessman. Was Gopal Patha associated with Hindu Mahasabha? No. He was just a local meat seller who had Muslim friends. He was surprised that on the day of the ship sinking, all my Muslim friends are killing my Hindu friends. What's going on here? My grandfather's father had secret meetings with RSS guys at his home in Jhansi. Wow. West Bangladesh, of course. Why did Bengalis unanimously decide hum sabko intellectual banna hai? It has a lot to do with what it was. It was the British capital. It was the Bengal presidency. So it's no coincidence that Bombay presidency, Madras presidency, Bengal presidency has the most amounts of liberals. Okay, so the highest amounts of investment in education by the British happened in these places. It's called the Presidency College, where College Street, Kolkata is. Okay, it's named after the Bengal presidency only. Banga Sultaniyat. Sultaniyat might be not that Bengali. We should think of it as Bongo Sultanatto, because they are going to Sanskritize it a bit, I think, as well. Oh, by the way, I need to promote this book, not because someone asked me to. I really want you all to buy this book because it's so unfortunate that such an amazing scholar like Shomode's book is coming out of Bitasta publication. I have nothing against Bitasta publication, but I guess his book should come out from like even bigger, legit academic publications. What a small book. Dr. Shomode gifted this book to me. After I read this book, I'll bring him back for a podcast. I'm so far into just the introduction. This book is called The Seedbed of Pakistan: Cultural Conflicts, Elite Muslim Anxieties, and the Congress, 1885 to 1906. That's the period he looks at. And then he's going to research and conclude how the seedbed of Pakistan was formed. So I guess so since so far I'm just in the introduction, I guess it's going to be on similar lines as with Venkat Dhulipala's research, whose famous book is now quoted extensively by all right-wing historians, and his paper from 2010 that we discussed on our live streams, and Desai Deepak's book India, Bharat, Pakistan. So I'm guessing I'll stumble upon a lot of things I already know, but he's taking some fresh new angles as well. So let's see how that Pakistan was formed, and maybe you all can also find uh, more similarities with that era with today's Bengal as well. But mainly I want you all to buy this book because first of all I want Shomode to be a super hit writer. He's arguably the greatest Bengali historian alive at this moment, but also because it's such a short book and it has pretty easy language. So buy it, read it, encourage publishers to yeah, it's available on Amazon. This is the third or fourth book, I think. Gautam Varun is saying, what is the origin of communism in Bengal? CPI was founded in Telangana, but the virus spread elsewhere. uh, Lots of Bengalis who were highly educated read all sorts of foreign academic material. They learned, they read communism and stuff. They could read English, so they read a lot of foreign stuff. And a lot of Bangladeshi Hindus who were migrants. Actually, communism started much before that, but let's bring in the Bangladeshi Hindu immigrants who faced a partition. A lot of them also became communists because communists were there to help them, at least on the face of it, in some ways, at least up until the 50s. Because after that, when the Motuas came, or in the 70s, they didn't get any help, the lower caste, when they came. In the late 40s and in the early 50s, when people were coming in, CPI communists were trying to help them settle and stuff, help them negotiate with Nehru, etc. And I guess they had they were looking for someone to blame, that the insanity that they faced. And every family used to have a communist back then, and he used to be the one who is slightly well off. Maybe he's because he's better in education and stuff, or maybe he knows a bit of English. But anyway, I guess all that blame fell on Hinduism, and therefore atheism became a popular thing to do. Maybe these things. Is Buddhism a form of Hinduism? According to Savarkar, yes. Commies changed political undercurrent in Bengal. Tea stalls, they were masters in brainwashing. Yes. Dada, have you read any book that deals with Hindu Buddhist spirituality? Hindu spirituality, though, yes. Sri Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, Sri Aurobindo's book, The Life Divine. You think BJP will be center-right party? Culturally, yes. Left, economically, not anytime soon. What will drive the right narrative then? Since BJP will be like Congress, you think Gramdal will be formed? Garamdal will be formed within BJP? No, Garamdal Faramdal ka cheez gaya hai, because now that the technology is so far advanced that if you talk about Garamdal on your WhatsApp, you are probably going to get arrested the next morning. So what's going to happen is that only way BJP will shift center right if the people demand it. If let's say freebies are a bad thing, that becomes commonplace. Freebies are a bad thing. It has been started. People have started saying that in India only in the last 2 years. 2020 ke pehle, I've never heard anyone saying that freebies are a bad thing. So now it's becoming more and more commonplace. So if a public opinion builds against that and somehow poor people in villages we are able to convince them as well, like the American poor people are convinced that freebies are a bad thing, then when there's a groundswell of those narratives, the party can do it anyway, even if they don't have such people in the party. But also I think there will be such people in the party itself, like the next generation of Tejasvi Suryas, or the generation after that, even like let's say people who are in their 20s, mid 20s, who are going to become, let's say, big BJP netas in their late 30s, 40s, etc. They are going to be more to the economic right, I think. Most of the Bengali Hindus who migrated from Bangladesh became businessmen, small, medium, large, whatever it is. I love that because they had no possible way to get a government job back then. Boon for them. I think it's mostly upper castes. The other Ambedkarite Buddhism is false, yeah. Maybe we must develop a societal consciousness to resist the regressive reformation of Islam. Yeah, that societal consciousness will happen with Hindus, not with Muslims. It will affect some Muslims. A lot of Muslims will be liberal, but their children, because you are not going to be helicoptering your children all the time, they are going to come across that hypothetical reformer sometime or the other, and they are going to make use of the 70-75% population. Best case scenario, BJP in power of Bengal and a controlled Islamic opposition in the form of ISF left, like Ajmal's party in Assam. Yes, what you are saying here is only in my lifetime. After I die and after all of us die, all of you people and me, after we die, this is going to flip. You need better thumbnails, Dada. Maybe not. Maybe it's different. Let's see. The American rural class are more American than urban ones. Almost everyone has 12 gauge or a crossbow, and they understand that freebies are bad. If the government is offering you something for free, it's not a good thing. It's common knowledge in America. Every villager in America knows more economics than our PhDs in economics. Okay. Mm. And the NRIs know absolutely nothing of these things. So I'm not that pissed off with what Ann Coulter said. A very specific point that Ann Coulter mentioned is that, see, I'm not talking about you, you know that, but a lot of even legal immigrants who are in this country, who are from like good countries, India and stuff, who are not creating violence and ruckus and stuff, even they don't understand the basic minimum of American values. These fuckers think free speech is a bad thing. What are the limitations of free speech? अरे भोसरी के वो अमेरिका जिस जिस कारण से बना है, इकोनॉमिक्स, फ्री स्पीच, गन राइट्स, वो सब कुछ खराब लगता है जिन लोगों को, वो लोग तो लीगल माइग्रेंट बन के बैठे वहां पे, हाईएस्ट टैक्स ब्रैकेट है. If even they don't get the basic minimum American values, they don't understand the value of those values, how is Ann Coulter even wrong? I would say the political class, the commies mainly. Let's see what Afin is saying. আরে ওই রকম ওই আরকেএম থাকলে হবে না, ওরা তো yeah, let's keep this away. And it harms only Hindus, doesn't civilize them, as they can't be. Yeah. Imagine Ramakrishna Mission, any Hindu reading Ramakrishna Mission's version of this. Thus spake Prophet Muhammad. Great. I agree with Ann Coulter on that point. People act like eunuchs. Oh my god. अरे सब कोई गाली देगा क्या? सब गाली मेरे लिए थोड़ा छोड़ो. How much have you read Shah Waliullah Dehlvi at the Naqshbandi order of Sunni Orthodox in general? By the way, you didn't read my previous comment in totality. Okay, I'll read once again. But yes, I have read all the extensive quotes of Dehlvi in Jesai Deepak's book, India, Bharat, Pakistan. That has insane amounts of quotes from other people. Okay, let's see where's your previous comment. Maybe we must develop a societal consciousness to resist the regressive formation of Islam. JSG's second book will help or use Marxist propaganda like the British did as a tool. Yeah, the comment is same only, that all the JSD book, all Hindutva consciousness, Instagram reels, all that is going to help only the Hindus and only in our lifetimes. Because at the moment the fight is different. At the moment, what we are solving for is a completely different thing. At the moment, we are talking about waking up Hindus and stuff, right? Narrative खुद का बनाना तो अभी भी है नहीं उतना एकेडेमिया में. उसके बाद आएगा कि जब रिफॉर्म करने आएंगे पॉपुलेशन के साथ, तब हम क्या बोलेंगे. So no solution that you can think of today is going to apply in that future date, because any solution that you are going to think of today is first and foremost going to be used up today. Therefore, anything that you use up today they are going to know of that move 100 years later. They are going to know that, oh yeah, remember the Hindus did this to counter us this way, so we are going to come up with something different. What do you think about Zen Buddhism? I don't know anything about it. I know LA liberals appropriated it to a large extent. A chunk of Bangals who came from Bangladesh in 71 largely participated in 1970s national movement. I see. Best case scenario, a caste composition actually helps analyze these things better. Best case scenario, yeah, this so we did. Will we see a wave of Ghar Wapsi after census 2026? No. After 2029. Did you read Wealth of Nations? No, I don't think I will read Wealth of Nations because it's so backdated. I'm going to have fun reading Milton Friedman's son's book. Let's see. Okay, let's see what Nina is saying. We have so much expectation from Modi. I think we're going to be underwhelmed by his actual work in the end because of pragmatism. Yeah. And Coulter. Bengalis are way better in arts and literature. What is the reason behind this? I think this. It's such a usual question and such a usual thing to mention, and it's hilarious that I don't have a ready answer for this. One answer that comes at the top of my mind might not be the correct answer. It might not have to do. Okay, let's see. Art and culture के लिए economic prosperity चाहिए. Okay, the very reason that Kolkata came to be called the art and culture capital of the country or the state is because it was the British capital first and foremost. When it was the British capital, whatever the elite Bengalis of the city did, by that I mean appreciating Western art, and fusing that with Indic stuff, that got the spotlight and the highlights. Therefore it got the name of being the cultural capital. Although if we look at it from a, if we ignore anything western as art and culture of India, Kolkata would not be an art and culture capital of India. Okay, Bishnupur would probably be the art and culture capital. But of course, production of art, sustenance of art, all happens with economic prosperity. That was happening in Bengal when the rest of the country was in the dogs, because Kolkata being uh, the capital was getting all the funds, and it's a seafaring. I mean, it's near to the sea, near to the rivers, everything. There was nothing to stop West Bengal, whereas everyone else went to hell. Bihar had such great music composers, classical composers, great poets. They went to hell because of poverty. So since our prosperity remained to a large extent, and it produced those Bonkims and Rabindranaths, so inspired from them, a culture, of course, a culture that looks upon art and culture and art and poetry, etc., highly, that emerged, and did not have the necessity to ignore art completely. But also caste cannot be ignored here. Upper castes and mainly Brahmins and Kayasthas of Bengal have maintained their elite hegemony the best in the entire country. And when I say this, people think I'm being casteist against Brahmins, I'm being an Ambedkarite, or I'm saying that therefore, I mean, every chatter. I'm saying that Sanjeev Sanyal was talking badly towards the Shudra. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that whenever, whichever, let's say, political ideology that was in favor, Bengali upper castes seem to be right in the middle of it. Maybe it's with their honest intentions, or with shrewd behavior, or whatever. All we can see from Bengal is that Bengali Brahmins and Kayasthas know how to remain elite forever and ever. And what happens when you remain elite? You have money, and when you have money, you do art and culture. So this Bengalis are always better in arts and literature. It means Bengali Brahmins and Kayasthas are always better in art and literature than everyone else, probably. Not all Bengalis. Like, just go to the third varna, Vaishya and downwards. You will see almost nobody in any art and culture in Bengal. Okay. Narendra Modi in some interviews says he literally must be chosen by higher powers to do his job. I think so too. That's an objective answer on a large scale. Poor business acumen of Bangals played a big role. Not to mention, after fleeing from Bangladesh, chunk of them captured native business. Okay, I don't know about these things. Let's see. But more than acumen, I think Bengal has never been a business-friendly state. India wasn't. So then imagine Bengal. It was pretty difficult to sustain MSME. Why did Indian Muslims even vote? Secular democracy and constitution is clear. Okay, I don't know about this. I don't want to get killed. Abhishek Sridhar is saying, what makes Islam beyond question? I mean, Dravidianism in Tamil Nadu was created to critique all the wrong aspects of Hinduism. This brings us to Brahmabandhu Upadhyay. How much of apostasy are you ready to tolerate? Okay, look at Brahmabandhu Upadhyay, that a double-edged sword he was. Okay, I saw a lot of myself in Brahmabandhu Upadhyay in a way. I'll come to that in the end. The end of his life was like sort of in a very minuscule level, like mine in a way. But what do we do with people like Brahmabandhu Upadhyay or Madhusudhan Datta, people who converted to Christianity out of their own accord? There was no caste oppression, there was no manipulation, etc. These people read a lot. सब पढ़ते पढ़ते हिंदुइज्म का सब पढ़ना हो गया. सब पढ़ना नहीं होता है, but they read Western stuff, Christianity. They thought, nice religion, seems to be a great way to reform Indians. I love Indians. They were never moving away from the idea of doing good for India. That's the craziest part. So Brahmabandhu Upadhyay thinks that since Hinduism all around seems to be delving into so much superstitions and stuff, maybe Christianity can help us better, because apparently these Christians who are British, they seem to be doing all right. Maybe we'll do all right if we become Christian. Now, that's my point, that so many people might have converted because of Brahmabandhu Upadhyay who never converted back to Hinduism today. But Brahmabandhu did. And we did not kill him for converting to Christianity, nor did we disallow him from converting back to Hinduism. Nor was there any we to allow or disallow him. Okay, because it's not an organized religion. But on the flip side, we in a guy like Brahmabandhu Upadhyay, therefore, we get a guy who understands the problem better than anybody else. Okay, like I have this firm, arrogant belief that uh, among all the people I see on the internet, let's say, uh, not too many people understand the problem or have solutions for communism or leftist politics like mysterious sociologist has. Or I would actually like to put myself in that category. Unfortunately, it sounds very stupid and arrogant, but um what the rest of the country has been able to do is complain about the right things, because even up until now, even that was not happening. We needed people to even point out that this is absolute horseshit. But most of y'all who live outside Bengal, y'all don't exactly know the nitty gritties of how a communist mind works. Because how many communists really do you know even? Right? You all don't even know too many communists in your life. You all think of that communism like a thing in a museum. So it, and especially since I have been a communist all my life, not, the majority of my life. I'm 32 now. I have been a communist up until I was 26. I've been not a communist for only what now 6 years, right? So the way I can critique or come up with antidotes to communism, no one else can. Mystery sociologist can, because he grew up with commies all his life. He studied in places where there were commies all around, but not too many people else can. Therefore, it's Brahmabandhu Upadhyay who comes up with the idea of decolonizing minds and remain Hindu at all costs. He understands the problem the best, and maybe he he prevented so many conversions even in the end. So if we are hard and fast about apostasy, we will have Islam where no one will be able to question us or criticize us. Someone or the other, somewhere, will be ready with a gun or a sword. And if we encourage apostasy, we will have people like Brahmabandhu Upadhyay who can come up with defenses even better. Now, in the larger scheme of things, you might say that, but in the end, I'm saying Bengali or Bengal will not be saved, but Islam will be saved. Now, that can be countered by saying that, well, how much do you think Islam is winning? Uh, Saudi Arabia, UAE, are they winning because of Islam or because of oil? Is Islam winning anywhere else in the world? Are their followers that successful in anything? I think in the end, Hinduism and the way we dealt with Brahmabandhu Upadhyay, those things really might be better. Let's see more comments. You should write books on Hindutva and anti-communism in Pondicherry. Why Pondicherry? I've never even been to Pondicherry. When I came to Kolkata, it felt I cannot stand at one place for more than 1 second. Institutions are everything. In terms of science and technology, especially, they are also behind the ascent of the West. India needs to build better quality institutions, at least need to learn from the West. And this is one thing everyone seems to be have a consensus on, sirf ho nahi pa raha hai, which is why I think this will happen very soon. Like Abhijit Ayar Mitra se leke Narendra Modi, everyone knows these problems. Amitabh Kant, everyone knows these things. Who's winning Bengal election? BJP. What is your opinion of Kushal Mehra? I think he's a fantastic guy. I think he's a little too rude and harsh, which I think is unnecessary. But I think it might end up being necessary when I'm at his age too. He has seen this scene for much longer than I have, so maybe he's run out of patience. Can we, as an individual, counter PhD holder historians? Which kind of seems impossible considering they get training in history, which we don't have. I don't think you can. I'm not saying because you are right or wrong, or because they are right or wrong, because debating is a very different specific skill set. And what happens when you complete your PhD is you have some high level academic rigor, which people like Jesai Deepak, Vikram Sampath have. Vikram Sampath at least has PhDs, but people like Jesai Deepak and Sandeep Sanyal have even without doing PhDs. But it just so happens that they have read as much books, so they can. Unless you have read that to that amount, you can't debate these people. So and the reason for that is that they have read, like, as many hairs are there on my head, they have read as many papers. Like Abhijit Ayar Mitra was saying in one day in a podcast that every day he makes a point to read at least one research paper, no matter what the topic. He considers a day wasted if he does not go through at least one research paper. Can you believe that? He reads 365 research papers in a year. Compare that with anyone else. Okay, so it's not going to happen. And why? Because it's not even because they're reading the right things or wrong things. No, because when it comes to the specific debate, unless it's a good faith debate which you can rarely hope of from a communist, it's unless it's with a relative, with a dear close commie friend, they are going to handicap you and or hijack the conversation, or shoot you in the kneecap with some random data point from a random incident from some random research paper, which you are going to be flabbergasted with, and you are going to fumble at that point and get screwed in the debate. The other people think RSS is the leader of Hindu community and their ideology will solve all problems. In my opinion, RSS is just a pure good sample of Hindu thought combined. Yeah. No solution is the only solution. That though I'm clear on. But your second line seems very correct for me. I'm optimistic about atheism rising among Muslims due to westernization. I am not. AM reads 3-4 JSTOR papers a day. He said that. Yeah. He said at least one. So yeah, you'll never be able to debate these people. Remember, Sanjay Dixit debated Abhijit Mitra so fantastically when they were debating the end of Hinduism at the hands of Islam. Remember the amounts of data Sanjay Dixit was giving out in terms of Middle Eastern history. I never knew Desai Deepak knew so much of that history. So if you have read like Sanjay Dixit, fair enough. But if you know in your heart that you haven't read, it's not about the credentials that other people know. You have to know how much you have read. So if you have read like that, those people, I don't have to know it. If you know it, then you can debate. Otherwise, you can't. It has to do with volume and quantity. Do you think CPIM can hamper BJP's game this election? No. Ahmed Sirindi is the predecessor of Waliullah Dehlavi. Okay. Even the leftist PhDs, they read a lot, even if those books are bad. Yes, of course. That is what we're talking about, academic rigor here. Do you know Ahmed Sirindi propagated the Naqshbandi order which was brought to Bharat by Khwaja Baqi Billah Barang? Sirindi criticized Dini-e-Ilahi, which led to Jahangir persecuting the Sikhs. I remember some of it reading in India, Bharat, Pakistan. Don't you think that bringing foreign universities shows inferiority complex and lack of understanding of basic problems in our country? Absolutely not. You have to get the best of what is there outside the world. Okay, because let's say if we don't bring foreign universities, or let's say foreign professors, or let's say we don't bring on a guy like Salvatore Babones on our podcast, what are we saying then? That everything that there is good to be had in the world, whether it's in terms of universities, quality of teachers, or specific people or infrastructure, we already have them. If we really have them already, why aren't we in a good place? So maybe we have them in some remote corner. Maybe they haven't written enough. Maybe we have them. We don't know of them. How can we go around searching for them? Not every one of us are not a talent spotting agency. So we will learn from any good example anywhere in the world. So which is why people who criticize me for posting so many Thomas Sowell quotes, it's not the same as a commie, because it's not an American ideology he's propagating. He simply there's almost no mention of USA specifically in any of his stuff. He writes about India extensively. These are universal ideas. So why shouldn't I learn from Thomas Sowell? Yes, if Chanakya was alive and he wrote like this on Twitter, I wouldn't need to quote Thomas Sowell. Okay, if Sandeep Sanyal posted these things only on Twitter all day, I wouldn't need to quote Thomas Sowell. It's not like Sandeep Sanyal doesn't believe in the things Thomas Sowell writes. It's not like Chanakya. Okay, Chanakya probably believed in the government a little more than Thomas Sowell, only a little more. But we don't even have half of Chanakya's quotes. Okay, but wherever we see good solutions, we will have to take them. Like think of UAE. Okay, what did UAE have? It's a fucking desert. Okay, now it's hosting all sorts of sports, music concerts. Who did they build those music concert venues with? Remember Khabib's fight with Dustin Poirier? That's the first UFC event as far as... No, that's not the first UFC event. That was one of the second or third UFC events in UAE history. The fight happens in Abu Dhabi. They create now they have a dedicated UFC stadium, okay? Because the UAE government has now officially invested in UFC, and recently even the Saudi Arabian government has invested in UFC. So back then, there was no stadium just for MMA. They made that stadium just for one day, just for Khabib's fight, because so many Muslims will come to see it from around the world. Khabib being the highest paid Muslim athlete of all time. Khabib's father will also come, because he could not. His father always got rejected for visas to go to USA because they were friends with Ramzan Kadyrov of Russia or Chechnya. So how did they make that stadium? With their own Arabian knowledge. Khabib then think of the infrastructure that's required for preparing for a MMA fight. He has to go through weight cut. He has to go to sauna. All that state of the art, world class. Who's building those things? All first worlders. How did UAE do that? Or why did UAE do that? Now UAE has become a semi-first world country, or it is a first world country. It's at least safer than any first world WASP country. So how did that happen? Dada, I think traditionalists will solve Hindu problem efficiently in the case of theology. The problems we have stem from not having sort of a united view, and if we do that, so much of unity that will come at the cost of something else. But I guess some amount of unity is required. Are the Bengali agrarian caste all Vaishyas or some other caste? I have no idea. Bengali farmers are mainly Muslim. I don't agree. They have already played their cards. Do a podcast with Omendra Ratnu. In my view, the historiography of Rajputana is rather unseen, acknowledged, unaccepted. Yeah. I listen to Omendra Ratnu a lot. I'll have to bring him someday. Sanjay Dixit is exception. I have met many IS who don't know shit. Yeah, true. I personally feel that a staunch Hindu is more pluralistic than any right. I mean, Advaita talks about Paramatma and soul bonding towards it, and Bhakti is a way to connect with Paramatma. Thomas Sowell uses hundreds of examples from India in his books. Yes, there's no point trying to paint Thomas Sowell as a purely American, or I mean, some American ideologue. He says that these are the ideas. They would have worked perfectly in India. Nobody used them. Telegram groups, no plans as of yet. Kushal Mehra is leftist personally, who is right winger. No, that's not a fair thing to say. The only thing he does, which I think might not be that much of a necessity, is that he is overtly harshly critical of people who come across as castistes, who I think are not castistes, who might end up being castistes someday, or maybe who are supported by castistes, but I think are not castistes at the moment. And I think Kushal Mehra might say those things because, again, he has a very different point of view from me, because I grew up in Bengal, where there is no caste-based bad behavior at all. Maybe he has seen caste-based bad behavior around him in other states much closely. So maybe he can understand things much quicker, or pick up things much quicker. So he's being overtly harsh. Other than that, what's the problem? Like, if you're saying that because he's an atheist, so then I'll have to counter that by saying that so many believers have done jack shit. Like, I give the example of the Trinamool guy in my neighborhood who ties up a dog 24 hours in rain, thunderstorm in his yard while he waters his tulsi plant 5 times a day. So what are you going to do with those believers? Sanjay Dixit was a bureaucrat of those times. That breed was different. They were studious, unlike us. They weren't on Instagram or Facebook. Yeah. Studious is a different thing, but the knowledge that Sanjay Dixit has is, of course, another topic. Kushal Mehra is too much about diluting Hindu identity. He's socially left. True. Socially, culturally left, yes. Liberal, of course. What is your opinion on Hindu women shamelessly commercializing their body on Instagram? That cat is out of the bag. How the hell is that going to be solved? I don't see other than that embracing your sexuality, embracing your body argument got so easily accepted because so many like fat people also bought into it. People who would not have wanted to see their sisters half naked on Instagram. I don't see it reversing anytime soon. Yeah, I'm trying to include mutton in Sattvic diet in a live stream at P Guru's. Same with AM in 2020. Yeah. Those are the things I find unnecessary. I don't know what Abhijit's sense of humor is very bad. So maybe he thinks they are funny things to do. Because what's the point of those things other than just pissing some Hindus off? What does he get by doing those things? Is matriarchy the reason for society's fall? Not matriarchy, but the misconceptions that Rajesh Nandi was talking about, that we discussed in the beginning of our live stream, that a lot of Hindus end up thinking that just because we worship the divine Shakti, that means all women are right all the time. Early marriage society's fall is not that significant. After all, remember, at the end of everything, we still have survived. Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, utne sab powerful masculine wale bhi survive nahi kiye hain. Is wokeism a product of liberalism? Oh, unfortunately, yes, liberalism led to so much atheism. Atheism led to a hole in humanity or human mind, psychology. Have you seen Hiramandi? I don't even know what it. I have absolutely no fucking intention of seeing Hiramandi. He says 99% of decolonial things, but still says, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I guess he doesn't get that point that decoloniality, one of the core tenets of decoloniality, tenets of decoloniality is that decoloniality is different for different societies. अरे ये comment मुंह के सामने क्यों है? इसको हटाऊं कैसे? अभिनव को पूरा पॉपुलर कर दिया. Okay, now I have to find that comment to make it disappear. Okay. Can we ever have a Hindutva communism? I hope not. RSS is already pretty Hindutva communism, okay? They have hardcore far left unions. Instagram couples are doing live on YouTube. They've turned YouTube into Desi OnlyFans. Yeah. That cuck thing, no? Yeah, that to happens with porn addiction. Because with porn addiction, you have spent so much of your time watching other people have sex that you have forgotten that अरे effort खुद को भी देना है, because having sex is obviously much harder than watching porn. तो फिटनेस स्टैमिना चाहिए, एफर्ट चाहिए, टाइम चाहिए, तो वो सब अगर करना है तो अब देखने में ही मजा मजा है, खुद का भी देखने में मजा है, तो किसी को बुलाओ या फिर वीडियो करके छोड़ो, थोड़ा साइड अर्निंग भी हो जाएगा, पैसिव इनकम तो सबको चाहिए, ये तो यूट्यूब में स्टॉक मार्केट वीडियोस देख के बस सबको पता लग गया है. But unless the porn viewing goes down, that thing is also not going to get solved. How is the porn viewing going to go down, man? I don't see how. Some things are pretty dire. हिंदुत्व कम्युनिज्म कैन बी अ काउंटर टू इंडिया अलायंस इन द फ्यूचर. तो उससे क्या फायदा होगा? बोलेंगे कि सिर्फ हिंदुओं के लिए ये रिजर्वेशन चाहिए, सिर्फ हिंदुओं को के लिए मिनिमम वेज चाहिए, तो हिंदुओं का एजुकेशन पूरा डिसइंसेंटिवाइज कर देगा, हिंदुओं का प्रोडक्टिविटी डिसइंसेंटिवाइज कर देगा. रिमेंबर वन थिंग, अ ब्रिलियंट थिंग दैट थॉमस वेल पॉइंट्स आउट, दैट everywhere minorities are actually hated, and those minorities therefore, since they are hated, since they are actually legally disadvantaged, except in India, he does not mention except India, but you notice that, yeah, that's the only thing that seems to be different about India from the countries he's talking about, Southeast Asia, Africa, etc. Everywhere minorities are actually legally harmed, oppressed, okay, systemically, and they end up doing better because they have an incentive to try even harder. In India, Hindus are incentivized to try harder. Therefore, after everything, we are still the most successful anywhere we go. Muslims are not being able to touch us in achievements, in academic, financial, professional achievements, because they have an incentive to not work hard. That's the same thing. That's why I hate reservations so much. Even though probably no one can accuse of me of being casteist, I think reservations should end right now, tomorrow, because the person who is already bad in studies, historically, because of historical cultural reasons, not having enough prosperity, economic prosperity, not having an environment of academics at home, you are saying to that kid, it's okay, you study less, no problem. And the Brahmin, whose ancestors have been studying the 4 Vedas, महाभारत, रामायण, सब कुछ मुखस्त है, उसको बोला जा रहा है कि तू भाई दुगना तिगना पर, नहीं तो तेरा कुछ नहीं होगा प्रोफेशन में, करियर में. What weird fucking incentive structure is that? So the only thing I hate about the main thing I hate about Brahmin commies is that these fuckers don't even understand why they are themselves successful. Brahmins are successful everywhere, we know that, whether it's because of this incentive structure or because of their history of focus towards academics in their families in general. After all, it's about reading stuff and memorizing and understanding, contemplating. ये सब करने का बाकी लोअर कास्ट के पास कहाँ कब टाइम था? क्या सोचेंगे कैसे कितना अच्छा बास्केट बनाए? तो the problem with Brahmin commies is that they don't know why they were successful in the first place. They think they are successful because of Brahminical oppression or patriarchy. They think they are the beneficiaries of that oppression. They think that their ancestors spat on the mouth of some Shudra and therefore now they are a big economics PhD. They don't know, they don't understand the culture in the home. So therefore these people start propagating reservation incentive structures are everything. Reservations have to go. caste system is genetics, purity. 0 marks के maths teacher Rajasthan में है. वाह. Dada, what is your counter to JSD's take on reservation? JSD's opinion is not that bad. It might be a practical one. I'm not trying to be practical here. I'm saying what's the ideal thing here. JSD has said that At the moment, it's pretty good. It's a band-aid, because after all, otherwise you incentivize more Christian conversions, and you are not even kicking out the creamy layer anyway. So poor lower caste Hindus are going to convert to Christianity even more. So why stop reservation at the moment? So I'm not playing the practical card at the moment. They would dance in front of Marx's photo if India was communist. Gujaratis and Baniyas are successful in business. Yes. Yes. But most things happen in India because of academic credentials, not because you are a Baniya. Avinav, actually communism corrupts more. Will India be a better place if we follow two-party system, especially like US? We can directly vote for presidents, governors. No. Two-party system तो उनका तो legally two-party system नहीं है. Theoretically तो उनका Green Party है, Libertarian Party है. उनका तो corrupt media भोसड़ी वालों ने उसको two-party system बना दिया है. It's not an actual two-party system. So for us even, we are not going to do that legally. That no, two-party ही होना है. ऐसा नहीं चलता है. Just make government jobs and government colleges irrelevant. Yes. Okay, guys. So we'll end the live stream now. It was a very fun discussion. 2.5 hours. We discussed a lot of things. Coming back soon. Hope to see you guys the next day as well. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.
श्रवरूढं महाभीमं गुणाद्रष्टाङ्गरप्रदं हस्य युक्तं त्रिनेत्रं च कपालकर्णिकाकरां मुक्तकेशीं ललज्जयं पिबन्तीं रुधिरं चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् कानि